Yeah.
Press the button as well. We are on the interwebs.
Oh, wow. I love this place.
It's kind of greasy here.
Yeah. Welcome to the cargo bay, everybody.
Yay.
Yay.
Hello. It's absolutely beautiful in here.
We got a sweet spot to play our games now. We've got a table that we set up in the cargo bay. There's even cargo. Check it out.
I like the foliage we got going over here.
Yeah.
You gotta have a little bit of green.
We got the
Little bit of
Evan Hawks
green.
hyperdrive over there too.
It's a little broken, if you haven't noticed, over there in the corner. But hello, everyone, and welcome back to Age of Rebellion, space where we all sit around and play some Star Wars tabletop games. We've got, and I'm just going to run through it real quick. We've got Eckhart Slatter.
Hello.
Corey Loses here.
Hi.
Wasted Space.
Good evening.
And we've got Charlie from Ec 2. Also, what is your Twitter again? It's Bovine, but I can never remember the whole thing.
It's the family bovine. You haven't followed me back, Shaq.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just-
I almost said Flaming Bovine, which is kind of a great name, too.
That actually sounds
Right.
delicious. So.
That'd be like a good restaurant name, yeah.
The Flaming Bovine. Steaks and burritos.
I said a cheeseburger, so.
Oh, man. All right. So if you guys have got everything, and hopefully you do, you're kind of my beta testers for this new map that I've been working on, little 3D space and tabletop simulator, which this is tabletop simulator. We have 100 questions asking, what do I use to GM in and what do we play in? I use tabletop sim, and all of the assets come from the workshop and various modders and modders that the Armco community have helped out to make this space function. So thank you everybody who's helped make this work for us and for our players. I really do appreciate it. But if everybody's good to start up, any questions, comments, concerns?
Nope, I'm good to go.
Got your character sheets? All right. Let's get into it, though. So, obviously, we need a music change.
Who was in the Evan Hawks room in KOTOR 1 and 2? I've been trying to remember.
In the cargo bay?
Bayodur was in it in 2, I think.
What about 1?
I don't know
Is
if
this
there's...
the cargo bay where you worked on your lightsaber in the first one? It had the bench in it?
I feel like it was Mission in here, but I can't remember. No, she was in that little. She was in one of the bedrooms.
Canderous?
No, Candace was in like the main hold, I think.
All right. So, with that, let's get into episode 3, The Rebel Fleet. So, last time on Age of Rebellion, each of you, having completed your training as Rebel pilots, made your way to a modified CR-90 Corvette, known simply as the Freestar. And it was under the command, you later found out, of Harrison Dula, a green to Twi'lek with some serious space mom energy. Before you all could check in with your new command structure, the Freestar came under brutal assault. You fought your way through the hangar bay and over to your ships. Eventually, Zachary, managing to convince, by threatening a young Rhodian mechanic, Trask Kutch, to act as his co-pilot. So he jumped on board your U-Wing with you, and you all launched into space to see the true scale of the battle that was happening, that you were right in the middle of. A Star Destroyer, the Endless Judgment, had dropped out of hyperspace somehow, knowing your coordinates, and locked a tractor beam onto the blockade runner. You each jumped into action, spurred by your human companion Saren to launch from the bay and engage the TIE fighters that were surrounding the ship. Itiri opened up with little restraint, dropping a few proton torpedoes at the first enemy squadron that she saw, blasting them to pieces. In retaliation for also talking some crazy crap, a X-Wing in the fleet got just decimated. You guys lost a wing, but managed to survive. But the squadron fought on. You even managed to save the Doran Keef, the last of Nova Squadron, before his untimely demise.
I think you misnamed that squadron, Shaq.
Nope. We got
You
art
just
for
okay.
that, by the way.
You said the correct name now. Thank you.
Nova, not No Squadron. Oh, deep cuts, man, deep cuts. So an amazing roll by Zakari. You managed to slice into the ISD and get into the power systems and shut down a single weapon system. And in those systems was listed the tractor beam emitters, allowing for the Freestar to break free from its binds and charge off, leaving a trail of fire, smoke, and debris in its wake. You all jumped to hyperspace and decided to do some mid-hyperspace repairs. That went questionably for one of you. Poor Osh, why do you hate your Y-Wing?
It was just jostled around so much, nothing was where I thought it was. It's everyone else's fault but mine is really my takeaway from that situation.
Messing around in your Y-Wing while in hyperspace, you manage to do something horrible and forcefully drop out, tumbling end over end the gravity well of the planet you were heading towards. It was only then when Saren used some pretty sweet piloting skills to physically nudge your Y-Wing using his TIE fighter to knock you back on course and taking you out of that dead man's spin. Eventually, you approached the surface of this planet looking for a place to hide and lick your wounds. You saw a city. But that city, there's something wrong. It was badly damaged and destroyed. Pieces of buildings had crumbled and broken. And after you sat down and made camp, you eventually got in contact with the Freestar and asked Syndulla, who had arrived much later than you due to you having to use their backup hyperdrive, that you wanted to know why was this city the way it was. And you learned about this region, known simply as Remembrance, a galactic graveyard that the Republic cordoned off some 500 years ago. After spending the night, you made your repairs, and you met back up with the Freestar, and before you barely had touched down, the ship jumped to hyperspace. And you arrived looking out at a massive rebel fleet, at least the largest that you have ever seen, sitting outside of the force field at shimmering blue light. This fleet is here for a reason. It's not often that they gather in such large numbers. What is it you don't know as your ship took up position with the rest of the fleet? So, with each of you opening up the canopies on your fighters, opening up the U-Wing, Trash jumps out of his seat and kind of runs towards the door and opens the latch and jumps out and takes a big breath as if he's free from your companionship for a moment and just free from the U-Wing. The Rodian looks around the hangar bay. Oh, wow. Quite a lot of damage in here.
Don't go too far now, Trass. I need you on the ship, baby.
Hey, I have other responsibilities.
Trass,
like
no.
this hangar is... He turns around. I've helped you.
Listen, Veronica got you off that ship, and you're loyal to her and me and the rest of the squad. So, you know...
Judging by his heart rate, I don't think it's advisable for him to accompany us on further missions.
Osh, I was about to listen to you, and I regret having done so. Listen, we got you out of there. You can tinker around with other toys, but if you get too far away from Veronica, I'm gonna find you.
What?
I'm just
he
saying.
glares at you and storms off towards some of the other mechanics that you notice have moved the broken A-wings that had been crashed by the landing party of the stormtroopers. They have started to move the scrap and debris out of the way. They put out the fires. They've started to repair this space that it's seen better days, definitely. They're beginning to make short work of the damage, the scorch marks from the TIE fire firing. While you all have a minute to stretch and be back aboard ship, the large double doors of the hangar bay open, and you see, this time completely kitted out, you see a large human. It's Hav. He's got a bandage over his neck, and he starts to make his way across toward you, Osh, and kind of glances around at the rest of you. He's got a large weapon on his back. It looks like it's got maybe 6 barrels or so. It looks like they're meant to rotate. He's got ammunition clips on his chest. Looks like energy cells. He's kitted out for combat, and he walks right up to you, Osh.
How has your recovery been going?
Oh, better. Better. The auto doc said that if I hadn't gotten the first aid you gave me, I probably wouldn't have made it. So, yeah, I appreciate it, little man.
I'm happy to have helped. Avoid perhaps getting torn up in the same way in the future.
Yeah, I'll do my best, and I won't forget it. Appreciate it. But I've got orders if the rest of your squadron can. And he kind of like waves over at you, Saren, as you land up on the platform. You all gather around.
Gives him a nod and comes wandering over, beckoning the other guys over.
So, Captain, and he kind of scratches his chin for a minute. Captain says that, well, if you need any kit or gear, you're more than welcome to hit up the quartermaster, but I'm to escort you all back aboard your U-Wing, and we're going to head over to Task Force Command. I guess they want to debrief you directly. I'm supposed to not let any of you out of my sight.
So
Did
we're
we
leaving
do
every
something?
fighter but the U-Wing here?
And he looks over as you ask him, did you do something? He looks over, not that I'm aware of. I mean, you did something, because we got out of that mess. But no, that's the orders that I was given.
All right, I can fly us over there if you want to go now.
You
How are
said,
the ship's looking? Can we get any repairs done while we're here?
and Hav just looks over at Trass. Trass! What? He comes over. Rodian looks at you. What? Trying to get this bay back in order. We want to know if they can get some repairs. Yeah, it's like my one job. And he looks dead at you, as if at you, Zachary. He looks at you. My one job.
Your one prior job. You can do this, but I'm swinging back around for you before we leave, so don't go
Oh.
too far.
Zachary, you seem to be violating several fleet orders and regulations with this behavior.
Yeah, well, when you take down a Star Destroyer with a U-Wing, you can kind of do what you want, I think.
I'm fairly sure I assisted you with that.
Exactly.
Psychology was not my major when I attended university for my medical training, but you seem to be exhibiting certain traits that we might want to discuss at a later date.
Yeah, we can
Trass
do that.
is over here like hyperventilating a little bit. I'm gonna talk to the captain about this, and fine, we'll work on the repairs. The fighters are priority, I'm sure of it. I'm gonna talk to the captain and see what we've got in the way of supplies. Now that we're with the fleet, I should be able to get whatever we need to fix these and properly fix that wing. And he looks over at the X-Wing.
If you could refrain from dropping anything further on the Y-Wing while performing your repairs, I would greatly appreciate that.
Did I drop something on it originally?
No, you didn't. It's just everyone else seems to, and I would appreciate it not happening in the
He's
future.
referring to me.
Not just you, Neytiri. Zachary
It was
did
an
so.
accident, little
I think
man.
Saren was very close to blowing it up on his own.
He glances up at that upper rack where the boxes used to be. Yeah. Oh, is that why there's crate bits sticking out of the Y-Wing? Yeah, we'll dig
Funny.
those out for you.
Thank you. I'm sure that will keep you quite busy, so no other work will take you away from that. And I look at Zachary.
Tiri, as you glance up there where those crates used to be, there are still some crates that are still up there, and they look like there's a young mechanic engineer who's been picking up some crates. And you notice you're getting a lot of side eye from this guy. He kind of glances over you and looks away, and glances over and looks away. A little bit of a blush to him. He's like up on the second story though. He's kind of far away, but you're definitely getting a little bit of attention.
I do that motion, you know, where you put your both hands on the eyes and you just drag them down, and then you walk. I walk over and I look at him and go, "You little man, why are you looking at me?"
All right, roll for me a coercion. Are you intimidating him?
Inquiring, not aggressive.
Not aggressive. Okay. He looks kind of taken aback. Oh, no, and you recognize him. He was the one that was inside the tie. Nothing. Just nothing. And you see this big sigh, and he picks up the crate at his feet, and he lifts it up, and he starts bringing it over to the rest of the pile, continuing to clean up. Sorry.
Did you still want me to roll?
If you're not gonna intimidate him, then no. I thought you were trying to intimidate him. So yeah. So Hav looks at you guys. Yeah. We need to get going soon, but if you do need to get kitted up with anything, if you do need to hit up the quartermaster, if not, we can head on out of here.
I don't suppose the quartermaster has a spear lying around? Because that was pretty much the only thing I got outside of that last scrap.
My eyes
we were in.
widen and look at Zachary when he says spear.
What do you mean a spear was the only thing that got you out of the? It's like what kind of like?
It was
your
more of a
fighter had
staff.
a spear on it? I don't get it.
They keep saying spear. It was more of a staff. An extendo staff, as far as we could tell, because none of us have been able to figure out how he kept it in his fighter. We're all very curious about this point. If you could clarify that for us, Neytiri, we'd all appreciate it very much.
You could extend it out from the bottom. There was a little like I stumbled because
Hav's just staring at you like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
Just
He's
something
got
she
a
can
lot of
throw.
kit. I don't know if he's got a spear or a staff or an extension. I don't know what you need, but I mean, you could always ask him, I guess. I just go for standard gear, and then he kind of shrugs and he lifts that big heavy weapon on his back up, and you guys as players would know this is a Z6, but your actual characters probably wouldn't know exactly what this weapon was. He lifts it up, he's like, I mean, he's got standard equipment for, whatever your orders are, or whatever and he lifts it back down, whatever your job is, but it's up to you.
My eyes widen again, and I'm like, "Have you got an iron pike?" As I remember what the name was of my weapon.
No, I got a squad weapon, but the quartermaster can help you out. Shit. It's like, and he looks at you guys like he's so confused. Would you like me to take you down there?
Yeah, let's go.
I nod.
All right. What about you? And he looks over at you, Saren. You need any kit?
I think I'm reasonably well set up. Just keep these lot out of trouble.
All right. Come on. So he leads you guys back through those double doors into the hall and leads you down that hall where it takes to a right before you get to the mess hall. And you have to take a trip down a ladder through a hatch. As you get down here, it brings you up to a single door that opens. And you notice that the wall is considerably thicker here than it is anywhere else that you've been. And as you walk in, you realize why, as you see the ordnance rode up on the left and the right hand wall, and then on the other side of a large counter is a series of just racks of weapons that look like they've been checked in. There's a couple of crate company, just average infantry sitting there, kind of discussing back and forth. One of them's cleaning off what looks like the forward end of a rifle. The other one's just like licked the end of an energy cell and slammed it into his pistol. They looks like they're just maintaining the weapons that are in the armory. But what you also notice is a Weequay with his hair like dreads tied back into this little bit of a ball in the back. He looks. It's hard to tell with Weequay kind of what age he is. He looks a little older though. He's got a rebel uniform on. He's got the coat portion of it just off, tied around his waist. A couple of stains on it. He looks up at you. Yes, the new pilot's come in, huh? Step up. What do you want?
I've really, really been looking for a disruptor pistol for a long time. I saw someone get melted by that once, and ever since, it's just been on my mind.
He has a little smirk on his face, and disruptor pistol. Yeah, well, those are illegal even to the Empire.
Well, so
I would
is
argue that rebellions.
We don't exactly carry those standard issue around here. For pilots, and he looks back for a moment, and he kind of looks at this sheet that's underneath the counter. Pilots, we got a bit of standard kit that I could give you. We've only got 2 G suits. What else we got? A couple of holdout blasters. That's normally standard issue. Anything else for that? It's probably going to be trader credits. Rations, of course. They're always on the trade. But a Dressceptor pistol. I haven't seen one of them in a while. Deadly nasty business.
Well, in that case, could we load one of those G suits up in the U-wing, just in case? Yeah, I almost wanted to send the, I almost wanted to shoot at the Star Destroyer from outside, and I just couldn't do it last time. So
It seems like a bad idea no matter what you're wearing.
Oh, you're thinking of an environment suit. And he looks over and glances, and kind of points down at one of these crates that are on the ground. He's like, well, we got a couple of those too. And I mean, I don't know. I guess I could loan one out to you if you want one for the. You said you had a U-wing in the bay.
Yep, black one, Veronica. Be careful
Veronica.
if you go near her.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you'll know her when you see her. Trust me.
Not to worry, I am suggesting he enlist in therapy.
Rolls his eyes a bit, reaches under and grabs what looks like this kind of a shrink wrap pack and puts it on the table. Pulls out another one. These two are G suits. If this is what you're looking for, and he slides it across. What these are, if you want to take one with you, since it's standard kit for the Rebel Alliance for a pilot, you just get it for free. If you use snap roll while wearing one, it keeps your blood, he says, where it needs to be, at least a little bit. It doesn't drain out of your brain. You still probably want to clench when you pull up hard, but yeah. So what it'll do is it'll cost you one less strain when you do snap roll.
You got to put it on at some point.
You got to wear it though.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's gonna be your kit. Kind of like coveralls basically, but it's very tight fitting. It easily fits underneath armor though, so it won't add or subtract from your strain or from your soak. There's only 2 sets of it. Got a couple of holdout blasters. Anything else? I've got a couple of off the books items that I'd be willing to let go if you're interested.
All right, hit us.
Pulls out a small box, little crate, and opens it up. Pulls out what is a carbine. Looks fairly standard issue, but when you get a little closer look at it, compared to every other weapon that are on the racks, this one is pristine, right? It doesn't have any of the scuff marks in the corners. It also, as he picks it up, he pops the back of the stock and he folds it down, and then he clicks it back out again. So, here you go. This is an OG9. This is one of my personal weapons I picked up on our last little trade mission. I thought one of the boys would pick it up, but Rebel pay isn't the greatest, and they haven't had the chance to procure it off of me just yet. I know a few of them are saving up for it, though. And what this, when you kind of take a glance at it, when you use it, if you use it at medium range and you pull the stock out, it gives you 2 boost die when you fire it. Outside of that, it has kind of standard carbine damage. It uses the heavy ranged skill.
I can't fire
When
one
you-
of those things. I'd knock my arm off, I think.
When you fold it down, it'll give you 2 boost die when you're at short range. But it takes a maneuver to switch between the 2. So you've got to blow a maneuver to swap the stock out, pull it back out. No?
I
Nobody?
think I'll
All right.
pass.
Yeah, it's not for me. Appreciate
Pulls
it, but no.
Pulls it and sticks it below. I mean, outside of that, I got some, some more standard Rebel gear. I got a couple of heavy blaster pistols. I've got a.
Actually, what
let's
is the
see.
base damage on that weapon?
On
The
the
one you were
carbine?
just showing us, yes.
It is. I'll pull it out real quick.
And the qualities, if you don't mind.
It's got accurate 2 that has to be switched between for the range bands.
Mhm.
He also pulls out a couple of gas grenades, smoke grenades, which is what they look like. For more kind of standard. He's got a couple of frags as well. Where is the OG98? There it is. Damage on this thing. So stat-wise, it's got a damage of 9, maximum range of medium, crits on a 3.
Okay. Does it have the inaccurate quality at all?
It has the accurate 2 quality.
Okay, so no matter what stock you're using, then it's not.
It's got accurate 2, but you have to switch between the 2.
Okay, then I think I will take that.
That'll be 500 credits.
Do you do store credit on exchange?
On
And I
exchange
hold out my
for
E5
what?
blaster carbine.
Pull out an E5. Oh, yay, an E5. I haven't seen a bunch of those recently. Roll a negotiation check.
Okay. Let's see. Oh God.
And it will be a hard check, as he is not the easiest. With 1, did you already roll?
No, I just put the dice
Okay.
in.
Delete one of the purples and add 1 red for his negotiation skill. And go ahead and roll when you're ready. Oh, is that the roll? Yeah.
Yeah,
So when he rolls this, what's up?
Well, I would argue that Osh is relatively cute and should therefore have a boost.
I will say no, but if you want to,
Oh,
oh man,
Despair.
yeah.
I can't go to your
So-
dice in this game.
He points back toward one of the shelves, and you see a row of those same weapons that you've got. Yeah, turns out we've come across quite a few of them. Not really worth it. Sorry. Puts the
What
carbine
about-
back in the box and closes it.
Well, I would just like you to know if I die in a situation where that would have helped fighting for the rebellion, that I appreciate your fastidiousness with your inventory.
I got one job, but I do it well. Oh, don't worry, we'll warn you.
What about those heavy blaster pistols? Are you just giving those away or what?
You can hear the 2 other soldiers near the door kind of chuckling at themselves at this. The heavy blaster pistols? I mean, standard loadout for pilot's supposed to be a holdout blaster, but
I mean, I've got a regular, and I just need a bit more punch. I wasn't getting it done last time.
roll negotiations.
Okay.
He does tell you 250 credits, and he looks at you and he's, don't think I'm not without a heart here, but the Rebel Alliance can't just be giving away its gear and equipment. These credits I'll use to go and buy new stock for the rest of the troops. This will get energy cells, this will get ration packs. There's a reason that if it's not on your standard loadout kit, I can't just give it away.
I mean, I'm not asking for it for free. I've got a regular blaster pistol. If you want that, I mean, I don't know if that's worth anything, but
You show it to him?
yeah,
It's just a normal blaster pistol? Just a
yeah,
regular
it's just
straight
a
up?
normal blaster pistol.
Early standard issue.
And I've got
alright.
a frag grenade I'll throw in because my
Let's
prior
not say it
experience
that
with
way,
was
please.
a little.
He sees you drop this frag grenade on the table. He's like, all right, yeah. 50 credits, call it even.
I have 50 credits.
Do you have 50 credits?
I don't.
It should be on any page just at the bottom in the character generator. There'll be like credits encumbrance always showing up.
I can do 25.
Roll a negotiations check. But you're gonna have to upgrade it because your
Oh,
ally just
God.
got a despair
Okay,
on their roll.
so 2 difficulty in 1 challenge.
So it'll be a 2 reds and a purple roll.
Okay.
Gotta give it an upgrade on that one.
Double despair. Let's go.
How did it do?
3
50 credits
failures,
is best
2
you're gonna get.
advantages.
I'll cover
What
the
if I
other
give you-
25
What if I
for
give you
you.
my
I'll tell
knife?
you what.
I've got a knife as well. I'll give you everything.
Zachary, I'll
because-
give you the 25
You
credits.
everything.
I'll take the knife. What kind of knife is it? Vibro?
No.
Oh,
It
it's a knife.
points and
Butter.
rings, That's. You know,
It's like just a traditional knife.
But you know what? The person who gave it to me, I paid 25 for it. So if we're being fair, you know, and this is one stormtrooper who won't be killing you in the future, at least.
Oh, yay. One down.
I'll cover the 25 credits, Zachary.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Even after healing me, you still. Oh man. Oh, okay. All
What?
right. Thank you.
What? After healing you, I'm doing something nice for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if I deserve this, but thank you.
Just please
All
try
right.
to not abduct Trass.
I can't promise that.
He
Consider
drops
it.
the pistol on the table. He's like, "Oh, please, the two of you, just take the pistol. Here."
Okay.
And
Thank
he
you.
takes the credits and he takes the gears. And mark that stuff off of your inventory. I put the pistol on your personal item space.
Okay. It's just a regular heavy blaster, right?
Yeah, it's just a regular heavy blaster. So, and it has the stats on the icon that I gave you right here.
Okay.
Just put your mouse over it, and if you wait a second, it'll tell you its range. It'll tell you the skill and the damage and the crit rating. So,
Nice. Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
And he took my frag and my blaster, but not my knife.
But he didn't take the knife.
Okay.
He just kind of flips it in his hand a bit, and you notice that he's very acquainted with the weapons that are coming through his shop here. So he kind of spins it in his hand a bit, and hands it back to you. Keep it sharp. Never know when you need it.
Did we do destiny points?
We did not. Everybody roll for force.
Can I also tell him that, just for the record too, I killed an imp holding an entire bag of frag grenades in the north hallway next to hangar. I can't remember if it was hangar Orek or Bash, but there's a bag of frag somewhere. So
Frags.
just, yeah, or
I haven't had any. Oh,
I actually gave those to the squad we were with.
Oh,
Those
you
were
did. I didn't
proton
see that.
charges.
They were using it to
Yeah,
liberate
I
the
had those
hangar.
come in.
For the record, I killed the guy who was carrying those. That was imp scum who had to kill our buddy here. So if I had just taken a couple of those, different negotiation. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's probably true. If you had kept those, that would probably have been
Had
a
I
different
kept them.
negotiation.
Yeah.
As he smiles at you, this big weak way smile. Part of you wonders, maybe he was a pirate in another life.
I got one light.
Starts with H, maybe.
I look at the shopkeeper, and I say, iron pike, please. Iron pike.
That's how you say it too?
Yeah, very direct.
Are you ordering like a meal or something? Iron Pike.
He's saying ion. She's
Ion
saying
Pike.
ion.
I don't
so-
have an Ion Pike just floating around here.
Your friend said you would.
Who said that?
Can I
Av
whisper?
walks out the door at this point.
Natiri, use your womanly charms on him.
It's probably best that she stopped doing that to people in the fleet. It seems to be making an impression.
Hosh, were you born a buzzkill?
Yes. That's what the kids at school called me as well.
I do have... I don't know. It's not a pike. All right, hang on. He walks out. He walks out of your sight, goes back into the storage areas. You can hear him rustling around, and you can hear a few like, "Oh hell, where is that damn thing?" Oh, oh, son of a! He walks over to another area, and you can hear a bunch of just, like crap falling, and pulls out. And as he walks, something you see him walking out, and it's this long, looks like a pike at a moment. Then you notice that it has this large axe head at the end of it.
Wait, what is that? What is that?
We had a bit of a run-in about 8 months ago. A few ne'er-do-wells thought that they could get a handle on our ship and called dibs on it.
Jeez,
Intergalactic
were they
dibs law.
Gamorreans?
He looks at you and he smiles. How'd you know?
I'm a big fan of those piggies.
Well, they brought on board a couple of questionable weapons. And this is what he shows you. So it's right here in front of you. It is this long weapon with this large blade at the end. It looks like it's got an energy cell-like capacitor at the very bottom of it. It is heavy. And it is a nasty-looking weapon. And it kind of smells a bit. I've cleaned it twice, and it still's got that smell, but I'm pretty sure it functions. I haven't really done anything with it. Not a standard issue weapon around here. Nobody's going to use this thing.
I don't know
I'm
how
thinking.
effectively you can throw that.
Why would you... You looking through a throwing weapon? Because I got a box of grenades back there.
No, no.
I got
I'm
smoke grenades too. If you're worried about blowing yourself up, we normally give those to the new guys.
I'm thinking it's like not as good as my iron pike, but but how much?
Well, what do you got in trade?
I do like a full double hand gesture down my body as I look down at it and look back up at him.
You trying to seduce him?
Yes. Aggressively.
Roll a charm check.
It's really hard to read. Hang on.
You
Two yellows, a
will be
green, and a-
rolling. You can hold Alt on any item to look at it at full screen.
Yeah.
So including your character sheet.
Well, charm. Okay. Wait,
Yeah. So charm should be your
Charm.
third one down from the left.
okay. Might need a little help from it. Is proficiency yellow?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Proficiency is yellow. Ability is green.
And then you get a boost
And
as spell.
your difficulty will be 3 reds.
3 reds?
Yep.
That's
That's a
challenge.
challenge. But you also get a boost as well.
He doesn't get a boost. He gets an automatic advantage.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh,
So
sorry.
he doesn't have to roll it. If it's a blue box, that means you get a boost die.
Oh,
Which
sorry
he
about that.
doesn't have any. There's no worries. No worries. So go ahead and roll.
Ooh.
Oof.
Fucking hell.
Listen, I'm looking for something of value to trade here.
Uh,
The smile hasn't left his lips. And you're not my type.
Fuck.
Charlie,
You got
I
2
don't want
advantages
it.
as well.
I don't.
I'm saying the swearing.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. So he's sitting there and he's put this thing on the table, and it does have this kind of strong, like rotten swamp smell to it.
I shake my head and it's like I literally have no credits to my name, little man.
He picks it up and he pulls away from himself as he activates it. And you can see it start to vibrate. And it's got that kind of blurred motion to the end of the blade. It still works, at least. Tell you what, you pick up something in the field of any kind of value to the rebellion, to the Crate Company, to keep these boys alive. And I will put this on a loan for you, if you're interested. But you got to promise me you come back with something sweet next time you guys are in the field, or you find yourself at a station doing some trading.
She lost her last melee weapon, saving the ship from a whole company of stormtroopers on a boarding. Not a whole company, that's not accurate, but several stormtroopers who were on a boarding craft.
The whole company of stormtroopers that weren't a company, who were on a boarding craft.
I was imprecise
and
in my language.
She did it with a pike.
She threw a pike at an explosive thing from across the room, and it destroyed the lander. It was quite impressive. If that doesn't warrant... And it was her own personal weapon. If that doesn't warrant a loner melee weapon from the rebellion, I don't know what does.
We'll keep an eye out for something.
Well, take the damn thing then.
I nod like I accept your terms, man, little man, and then I pick it up. Wait, am I allowed to pick it up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
pick it up. It's got some heft to it. Stats are on there for what it is. Now, be
Yes.
aware, he warns you this too. This is a vibro weapon. I don't know if you've had any experience with these. They are incredibly deadly weapons. They are vicious, and that's actually a quality. Vibro weapon like this has vicious 3, meaning that if you ever do a crit, if you are a triumph on an attack roll, you will add to that roll. In this case, it's vicious 3, so plus 30 to the critical rating
Oh my
of
God.
it. Meaning, there's a good chance that if you roll high on your crit, you could maim someone horribly, cut off a limb, or just straight up murder their face. It also has Sunder 1. That means that with Sunder, if you have enough advantage when you attack an enemy, you can trigger Sunder and damage their weapon.
Oh my god.
This one actually has Pierce as well, so keep that in mind. But you got to get close. It is a melee weapon. You can't just throw your
Can
weapon
it
and
hurt
everything.
me?
I mean, it
Oh, if I do lethal.
Yeah, in unchained hands, it would harm someone. But I believe you're trained with melee weapons.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's no more deadly to you than a blaster would be, and you're trained with it. So, there's always the chance for a despair, but in this case, it is very lethal to who you use it on most of the time. And he really doesn't have a use for it. You get the chance. You get the sense that like he's just trying to get something for it and get rid of it. To a rebel infantry squad, this is not exactly a standard weapon.
It is for me. I agree to your offer, little man, and I'll bring you back something of extravagance.
He kind of leans over the counter and puts his elbow on the end and kind of rubs his temple for a minute. Yeah, please. If you find anything of use, I'd appreciate it. Next!
We will make sure to be back soon. Do not worry.
Anybody else got anything they need?
There doesn't appear to be anyone in the room other than those 2 laughing soldiers over there. I don't know what funny joke was told, but it does seem to be quite funny.
They kind of notice that they've been called out and turn back to their work. Go back to planning. All right, what do you guys do?
I think it's. Is there anything else you guys want to do here, or should we head over to the U-wing and see what our orders are?
I'm gonna head back to the U-wing and find Saren at least.
Yeah.
But as we leave, I kind of lean into Zach. I didn't realize that the rebellion's weaponry was handled on such a pyramid scheme basis.
I didn't realize that such an attractive woman could be so bad at seducing things.
It's not foolproof, moron.
So, where do they find you, Saren? As they head back toward the hangar? Do they find you in the hangar, or?
No, Saren will have made his way to the mess, and will be sitting down with a cup of calf.
Okay. As you guys get back to the hangar, kind of looking for Saren, you're directed that he's head off out, and the only other place that you kind of would guess that he'd be, probably be the mess. It wouldn't take you long to figure it out. So as you make your way towards the mess, you're looking for Saren. They find you just sipping a cup of calf, huh? And the mess has been cleaned up, you notice. There's damage. That table is still there. It is carved through the center, the metal bent and twisted. The pipe itself is still down.
The Nautilin body is still there.
But the body has been removed. And it has been cleaned and looks like the area's been sterilized a bit. But there's no maintenance people working in here. It is daytime inside. So last time you were here, the lights were kind of turned down a little dimmer, and there was a lot less people walking around because you'd showed up in the night cycle for this ship. Now that it's they've had some action, so everybody was up and working their asses off to begin with. There's a lot more people around. People are eating. There's conversations going on. There's probably about 25 people in this room, in this large mess hall. A few people getting their trays and their food. You find Saren inside.
In that back corner, same chair as he was in.
I'm gonna go over get some calf.
I follow. I want calf.
All right. So, seeing them sitting, the calf is strong. It's got this burnt kind of flavor to it as you guys start pouring your coffee cups.
Saren, seeing the men, is going to wander up to where they're pouring their drink.
This better not be the same stuff that was on when we were here last.
What do you expect in a place like this?
I don't know,
Of
but
course it is.
last time I tried to drink some, I almost had a pipe fall on me, and I think Osh did have a pipe fall on him.
It hurt quite a lot.
I was the one that nearly died.
Only more refreshing when it's been brewed this long. So did you find what you needed?
It was actually surprisingly good. We got something that can cleave things and something that can shoot things.
Those do tend to be the 2 classes of weaponry that we use.
Well, there's also something that explodes things, which I no longer have. The weak way in there was driving a pretty hard bargain.
I would
no one
argue that
cares
the exploding is a mix of both shooting and cleaving when it comes to fragmentation grenades.
Where did you go to medical school, man?
the academy on Polis Massa, but then I did go to Alderaan for some time to practice at the big hospital there, whose name I forget and don't have written down.
Honestly, sometimes I think you should have stayed there.
At the hospital on Alderaan.
Yeah.
I would have liked to, but because I'm not human, I'm not allowed to practice there anymore. And were you implying I should have been exploded?
Maybe.
Well, that's rude.
It's a joke.
So how much did he fleece you for?
Pretty much everything. I mean,
Nothing for me.
we should have been patting those stormtroopers down for any credits. I mean, what about you? Like, do you have any money? Like, I mean, if we go to a cantina at some point, drinks are not on me. That's all I'm saying.
I still have 300 credits after helping you with that blaster.
300 credits. Oh my
I have
god.
nothing.
Are you saying 300 is a little or a lot, Zachary?
It's infinitely more than I have.
Well, it's 300 more than you have, not infinitely.
Oh my god.
Sounds like you're lucky to have left with anything.
Yeah, I can't complain too much, I guess. But if we see anybody passed out, I'm checking for wallets. That's all I'm saying.
Very honourable.
That's not a bad idea.
We're in the rebellion, not Sunday school.
Well, speaking of Sunday school, shall we?
Yes.
What does that supposed to mean?
You don't get a response. Aaron just walks out.
As you make your way towards the door, Hav has been kind of just sitting there and letting you guys do your thing. He seems content to just wait until your business is done.
I salute him quickly as we pass him.
What do you do?
I just salute him while we're passing.
He looks around a little bit. You get the sense that he's enlisted and nobody normally salutes him, but he quickly pops one back towards you. And I didn't know we were doing that. None of the other squadrons ever did, especially aboard ship. Right. Are we going?
I think
I
so.
think we're going. Yep.
All right. Great. Let's get going then. He follows you guys out to the hangar.
Are you coming with us?
I'm not supposed to let you all out of my sight, and I'm supposed to escort you to the command ship.
All right. Well, thankfully we got some space in the U-wing here. But what about Tosh? Where's Tosh?
I'm right here.
Or sorry,
You mean
Trask.
Trask?
Trask. Yeah, Trask. Sorry.
He's as you guys get to the hangar and you're looking for him. You can see that he is almost completely upside down on top of the Y-wing, like leaning over into one of the nacelles and then kind of holding on to where your R2 unit has been pulled out at this point and is kind of dangling over the Y-wing. He's got his one hand in that hole and the other one's kind of like leaned over, and he's got his fist just deep into the guts of this Y-wing. You can see a few sparks popping out.
He looks so happy. I'll leave him be for now.
All right. So, you guys are going to
Oh, we
board
have our
on
destiny
the...
points, by the way, I think.
Oh, right. Yeah, go ahead and do the destiny point rolls while you guys load into the
Assuming
Y-wing.
everyone
You-
rolled, I picked up on what dice was on the table in front of people. So
Oh,
I've already
okay.
done it.
So is that the pool? Just 2 and 2?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You all rolled ones?
Yeah, I got
Yep.
one light.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Split completely down the middle, too. Interesting. All right. So, you all load into the U-Wing, and there's enough space in there for all of you, especially since it's kitted out to carry almost a full squad, fully, armed up and ready for combat for a Rebel drop team. You all load in, bring the systems online, and head out of the hangar. Av directs you towards the MC-75 on the port side of the fleet as it stands. As you guys are making your way through the small little window slits that you can see through the U-Wing's doors, you can see the true scale, the true size of the fleet itself. Its largest members being the 2 Mon Cal cruisers that are in the center.
Never seen one of these things up close. A little bumpier than a Star Destroyer.
Just a tad.
flying past, and not dangerously close, but close enough you can really see the detail of the MC-80's weird like skin to it and all the bumps that it's got. You notice as you start approaching the MC-75 that the two ships, though from farther away look almost identical, are very different. It's almost bizarre. Getting clearance for the hangar bay on the Nomad, as you find out it's called. You're ushered in to their first hangar bay. Brought in, there is some crewmen guiding you in, telling you where to bring it down and when to shut the engines off. As it sets down, you notice that the hangar bay here is far larger than the blockade runner from the Freestar, and in much better shape. Inside, there's a row of 3 X-Wings on the right, 2 Y-Wings to the left, all having crews working on them, fuel being pumped in. And you noticed as you were flying over here as well, a couple of GR-75s, a couple of Rebel transports that seemed to be running around fueling up the fleet. When you first arrived, they were fueling some ships. Now they seem to be fueling others.
Gosh, you probably could even land in here without difficulty.
Yes, that is true.
As the doors open to the U-Wing, you are greeted by 6 fully kitted fleet troopers. Those strange rounded helmets that kind of swoop back. They each have a carbine in hand, have already made it almost all the way up to the door. You can see them double timing it to you as they stop. Twin Sons? The lead trooper yells out.
Nod from Saren.
We're to escort you to the bridge. You're to come with us.
Is this normal, guys? I've never been on a ship this size.
No, it's about time.
Have glances to each of you, and for such a big dude, he looks a little concerned. I've never had a greeting like this. What do you do?
Go with them. I'm just gonna start following them.
I follow in tow.
All right. As you all filter out of the U-Wing, the guards seem to spread around you. It feels less like a welcoming party and more like a prison escort.
Sarah and I really wish you had filled us in on what's going on here, because this is a little odd. I whisper to him.
Is Zachary finally getting court-martialed for his behavior towards Trass?
Look, you'll find out in time. Just roll with it.
All
There's
right.
reasons why I couldn't tell you anything.
Okay.
You'll see Saren, like, subconsciously just reach up and just stroke the tattoo on the right side of his neck.
Hmm.
Wait, what tattoo is that? Can I inspect that?
Sure, roll perception check.
What is it? Perception.
For this, with you guys walking so close together, and with his movements kind of directing your eyes to it, I'll say it's an easy check.
Don't we get a bonus off him as well from being so close? to him?
Ironically, yes, you get 2 boosts for being in close range with me to all your perception checks.
And then what? An easy check.
Can I get in on
is
that?
1 difficulty.
All right, fair enough. Is that is that in person or is that in vehicles only?
No, that's a leadership
Just a
skill,
thing.
not a person, not a
That is
skill.
a cool skill. All right, so you give bonuses to your interesting. So that'll be 3 boosts.
Perception and vigilance.
for
3
that roll.
boost.
Yeah. You can
Okay.
keep that roll you just did since I kind of reminded you late, or you can roll again if you'd like.
I'll roll again.
Okay.
I'll just keep
You keep what
mine.
you roll though, just a heads up.
What? I keep what I
you
roll.
passed it.
Yeah. So it's up to you. You might get more advantage though that you could use.
Yeah, that's yeah. I'll go. I'll do that.
I like it.
Can I?
Chance
Can I
taker.
roll again the entire
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, since
Yeah.
if I ever forget to add a dice there, I'll let you do it.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, better roll, much better roll. So you got 4
Pulls
advantage
out
there.
his. He's gonna have to pull out a microscope or something.
So you glance over, and as he's kind of scratching his neck, he pulls down a little bit of the collar as he does, and you can see him kind of rub it, and you can see clearly this tattoo. What does he see, Sarah?
He
does she see?
sees.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry, she sees. Yep. She sees a series of diamond-like shapes that start wide at the top and slowly come down towards a point. Each one just made out of segments of these little diamonds. And then down near the bottom, there's a little, like, a loop that loops around all of these diamonds.
What? I look at it and I whisper as we're moving. What is that psychedelic tattoo you have on your neck?
Nothing.
I disapprovingly, like, you know, wince my face and like look a bit upset about how snappy Saren was to me. I'm disappointed because I thought we were friends.
All right.
This would probably also be an appropriate one, maybe for one of the education checks as well.
Ooh, what's
Thinking the source of that tattoo.
Would I be
Yeah,
able
don't
to
forget
do
your
that?
skills.
I did notice on the perception check. So can I do the a knowledge check there?
With it being pointed out and with the conversation, and you guys are kind of packed together, you're heading down the hallways of this starship with a guard in tow. So they've kind of pressed you together as they're walking with you. I will say you would have been able to hear that conversation. And if you'd like to do a roll, you may. And if you would like to upgrade his roll, because you've got 4 advantage to spend there, you guys can use that advantage in these moments to add an upgrade to another roll, to use it for something else. Get creative with it. You got 4 advantage. That's a lot.
Can I?
And I'll tell you yay or nay as the GM. I'll keep it kind of balanced.
Can I be boring and put it on strain?
In this moment, you want to like throw all 4 points into recovering some strain? You shouldn't have any strain damage at all. You guys had a good night's sleep last night. So
Yeah.
go ahead and reset your strain.
Did I accidentally put that to 11 then?
Yeah, go ahead and if you have any strain damage, go ahead and heal all that. You guys had a night's sleep on the ghost planet, on the dead planet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry.
So
12.
I mean, you could, but you wouldn't have anything to recover.
All right, okay. That yeah. I'll give my advantage pool it to Osh, unless like I don't really know why I could use this advantage in this situation.
You could like talk to him and try to figure it out together or something.
There's a lot of things that you could, if you can get creative with it, a lot of things you could do. You could just ask for a particular detail that you're interested in that your character might know. You could use it to upgrade your next roll if you wanted to try a roll into the knowledge skills that he mentioned. You can. I mean, there are some limitations, obviously, because it needs to make sense within the story.
I can make an education roll with my and how can I move that advantage over to the next roll?
So for this, you could spend the advantage to, if you actually look at your cheat sheet, and this is normally for combat, but a lot of this can kind of be extrapolated into more of the narrative stuff. So in this one, it would be most likely there should be an upgrade on here for result options 3 advantage, or even a triumph. At 4 advantage, you get into kind of triumph territory. So it would be upgrade the difficulty of the targeted character's next check, or upgrade an allied character's next check, including yourself. And this would be upgrading your next check, which would be, now that I've seen it, I would like to think back and see if I remember ever seeing something like this with a knowledge check. And I'm going to upgrade that based on how much detail I got out of that perception check. You know, that's how you kind of want to wrap it. So, and that'll cost you the 3 advantage, we'll say. It's up to you. It's your advantage to spend.
Yeah, 3 advantage. Yeah, I'll use that for the edge, and then I'll give the 1 advantage over to Osh.
Okay, probably the next roll. 1 advantage will allow you to give the next
Oh.
ally a roll or something like that. So I would allow that if it's about this. Remember, it has to make sense in the narrative. And in this case, you're kind of investigating this tattoo that you've seen your ally have and this mood that he's gotten into.
So I can put that in an education roll.
What would you like to roll? In what way are you going to be looking at this tattoo and look at those skills? And I'm happy to help you with this.
I'm wondering if like there's a chart. I guess I don't know, but would my character have some knowledge in like what that design would be?
That's what the whole role is for. So so when you're choosing the role for like knowledge check specifically, particularly, you think about like what angle are you coming at it from? Is it a xenology role? Is it something that maybe it's like the species that he's a part of, or maybe it's like a social thing with his species specifically that's tied into it. Maybe it's a warfare tattoo. Does it look like some kind of like tribal marking that might have to do with some great conflict, or maybe like you as a player can make some assumptions and then choose the right skill that you think would work great. In this case, and this is one of those few instances where like meta can be kind of a good thing. You can, as a player, I know what this is, but does my character? Now I got to roll that skill check. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's a core world tattoo. Maybe it's something from high society. Maybe it's a political thing, or maybe it's from like a government thing, which would be your education checks. So it's up to you.
I don't want to impede on like the wasted character.
No, this is the whole. You're not doing that. Investigating,
You already did that
backgrounds.
bit.
Yeah, you already did that. Now it's like, you're answering. You have questions. Try to answer them.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I'll run the education check then.
Okay.
I can't. Where does that fall into on general skills?
It's the bottom right. It'd be the
Bottom
knowledge
right.
section, bottom right.
Oh.
Yeah. And remember, you
So-
can hold down Alt on anything on the table, and you can see it in full screen if you need to see this more clearly.
Yeah. I just didn't know
Um,
where it was in the
Yeah, it's all the knowledge skills are on the bottom right of your character sheet. So this is going to be 2 greens for you because intelligence, your intelligence is only a 2, which
I'm
isn't
not
bad.
a smart
It's just
woman.
average.
He gets an
So 2
upgrade,
isn't
doesn't he?
2 isn't like unintelligent by any means. If he wants to use that advantage for it, yeah, you could upgrade that. So you would change that out for a green and a yellow
Okay.
as an upgrade. So delete 1 and add a proficiency die to it. As you got such a good look at the tattoo that you're using that to increase the dice roll. Basically, a lot of detail.
And I don't get the bonus from Sarin with the boost.
This
That's
isn't a
just
perception
perception.
check now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
specifically perception checks.
Okay.
You need a difficult.
Oh, do I need a difficult? Oops. I'm really sorry. Oh. 1 advantage. Down.
You got 1 advantage. All right. You, for a moment, thinking through what this is you chose education for this. Or you can always ask the GM to recommend a skill if you'd like. But in this case, since they were all the same stat, I let you just choose whichever one you wanted. For education, for a minute, you thought you've seen this pattern before. Or maybe you saw a holo vid, or you read a holo novel. There's something about the design that piques your interest, but you can't place it. With the advantage, I will say you got 1 advantage on that roll. I will go ahead and say, you've seen this before in this design, and you've seen it, maybe not the specific design. You're not sure, but you definitely have seen it as a like something like this as a tattoo, not as like a symbol of like a government or a flag or of a place. This is definitely a tattoo design that's reminiscent of other tattoos that you've seen. You can't really place it. You don't know.
Okay, so I'm familiar with it, but then nothing more.
Something's like itching at the back of your mind, but you're not sure.
I won't press for now. I'll actually throw it over to Osh because I know Osh wanted in on this juicy news.
These boots are stomping in sync, by the way, as these 6 guards guide you through the interior of the ship.
I'm gonna
Osh,
skip
what
it.
are you doing?
I'm just gonna skip the tattoo knowledge. Osh is too stressed about the situation to think too much about the tattoo.
Okay. And speaking of being stressed by the situation, I want everyone to roll a cool check. As you go down, you all kind of pile into this more or less a turbo lift, changing the decks. And you are surrounded by these guards, and each one of them is stone cold faced. And they each kind of glance at one of you. over each of you. They keep looking at you and kind of keeping an eye on you, making sure there doesn't seem to be subtle movements. Weapons are out. They are lowered down, but they're in their hands. They are definitely being very vigilant. They're watching you like hawks.
I'm just gonna start sweating under this situation. I've been putting up a tough exterior this whole time, but I'm
Average skill
sweating.
check. Let's see how much you guys give away and if you can kind of keep your cool in here.
Oops.
What is that, like 1 green for you, Zachary?
I'm gonna
Rest in
re-roll. That
peace.
was super skewed.
Uh-oh.
Is that too difficult? Oh no.
2 purples.
How did that land
Average
like
check.
that?
Don't worry about having to re-roll. It will calculate the exact like angle the dice drops on,
Okay.
and it'll just tell you which one's the top one, so you don't have to worry about re-rolling.
All right.
You'll get some weird
Nice.
rolls on the table, but it does it for you.
Okay.
I did
The only reason we
terrible
didn't use
roll.
these originally is so... Oh man, some good rolls coming out of this.
I'm just sweating so bad. Like my bladder's starting to I'm clenching. My stomach's upset. Like I've got the hot snakes in my belly. It's just I'm like having a bit of an anxiety attack right now.
Oh, how much did you fail at by?
Wearing...
1 failure, 2 threats.
2 threat. All right, take 2 strain. As you're starting to sweat, you're surrounded by these troops. You're kind of locked in a box with them. It's really off-putting. And as you walk down the next hallway, you seem to be heading towards the command center of this ship. You hear a little bit of like whispered discussion as you pass some of the corridors that link to this main hall. And you get some eyes watching you all as you pass by.
Can I do like a perception check for any like threats or anything? Because I'm thinking of Bolton right now.
What are you looking for? Threats in what way?
I've just at this point like I'm having an anxiety attack. Something feels wrong. Maybe I want to look at. I think I want to check out the blasters of the nearby guards and see if their safeties are on. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, roll a perception check.
Okay.
I will say it's an easy perception check, as there are many blasters, and they are all around you.
Okay.
It wouldn't take you long to get a glance.
Okay. I'm too nervous. There's sweat in my eyes, so I just.
Oh, okay. Yep. You're welcome to use that advantage how you like, but
I'm
you
just
can't
gonna
get a
throw
glance.
it. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it. I'm not gonna
You
use.
see the weapons, but
I'm
you
too
don't
nervous.
see the detail of where they've placed their thumb and where that switch has been put.
Yeah, I'm just
So.
breathing heavily now, starting to sweat. So.
As you
Can
approach...
I
Oh, go ahead.
use the triumph I got to stare down one of the guards that is following us?
Okay. What's your... Does Saren have a goal here? Is he just trying to intimidate one of the
He's
guards?
literally just trying to say, "You're not as hard as you think you are, friend."
As you guys are in the
With
turtle
eyes
lift
only.
moving, the lead guard who's kind of stood in front, and as the door has shut, he turned around to watch the group, and he was giving you the evilest of eyes as he watches you carefully, and he stares you down, waiting for you to blink.
And he
And
just
you
gets
just-
that 1,000-yard stare.
You just stare right back into his eyes, and you can see him start to get you can see him to grinding his teeth a little bit. Eventually, blinks, shrugs a minute, and shakes his head and turns around as the doors open up. You can see him shake his head hard this time as you definitely stared him down and kind of shook his resolve for a moment. Come with me. Starts walking down the hall. As you guys reach a set of double doors, there are 2 more fleet guards standing to the left and to the right of these large doors. As they open, they both give a nod. The rest of the guards kind of stand back. Inside.
Not a big fan of this, guys. I don't like this at all.
Just go with it. If they were going to kill us, they would have done it before we ever got aboard the ship.
Why do they have their guns out? Like, this way they get to keep the ship. My Ewing, Veronica.
Well, go on, get in there.
We'll walk
I
in.
walk in. Yeah.
You walk in first?
I walk in first, yeah.
All right. So what you're greeted by as you have to walk in, and as you turn a corner, you find yourselves in a bit of an auditorium. There are the sets of almost bleacher-like seats that run up and around this half circle. In the front of the half circle is a large window that looks out, and you can see bits of the fleet lined up outside. The lights are dim. At the center of this circle is a holo table that is currently on. The lights are dimmed down, and you can see a Twi'lek standing back to you, talking to a gruff-looking Rhodian. He's in a fleet admiral's uniform. He's got a dark, like emerald green skin to him, and then he's got that kind of standard khaki-colored uniform that's sharply cut. Next to him is an older gentleman, graying hair that's long but stops about at his shoulder length. And he's got a bit of a goatee that runs slightly down into a point. He's also sharply dressed. You notice he's wearing what looks like a military uniform, but not one you're immediately familiar with. It's a deep, rich blue color. There are a few medals glancing at, look like they have writing on some of them, but you don't recognize the language, at least not at first glance, unless you want to try a roll for it. The Admiral and this sharply dressed older gentleman, are standing looking at the Twi'lek, which you recognize as Syndulla. Speak of the devil, they're here now, the Admiral says. Syndulla's hologram turns towards you.
Are we in prison?
The Admiral leans kind of around the corners. The rest of you filter in. All right. That's good enough. Wait outside. You can see him talking to the lead of the guards. Sir, are you sure? I said wait outside. Shut the door and see that it's locked. Yes, sir. As you wish. The guard that you had stared down earlier turns and makes his way out the
Saren
door.
gives him a wink as he leaves the room.
He's head down, eyes kind of up towards you, and gives you this exasperated sigh and marches off. Tells the rest of the troops with what kind of a hand wave, follow me. And they all make their way outside. The door shuts. This light's still dim. Yeah, Admiral, these are the ones that saved our asses. Syndulla says with a bit of a smile to all of you, happy to just see you again.
I'm still too nervous. I'm not saying anything.
Yep, same.
It is good to see you again.
Nice, you'll at least give us the credit.
Well, it was a damn fine job that you did, Rodian says as he straightens up, kind of straightens his uniform and steps forward towards you. A damn fine job. He puts a hand out towards you, Saren. We would have lost the Freestar if it wasn't for Twin Sons.
Saren looks at the hand for a little longer, just long enough for it to be awkward, and then reaches out and grabs it.
Gives it a firm shake, and turns immediately to Zachary. And you. I understand you're the one that breached that ISD security, managed to power down its tractor beam?
Yeah, that was me. Still, my anxiety is still through the roof right now.
It's a damn fine job, son.
Oh.
You saved, well, what remains of Crate Company. And Syndulla. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Well, don't ask me to do it again, but anytime.
He stops and he looks at you to see if you're serious.
It was a joint effort. There was an engineer named Trask down in the hangar who I couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Oh God.
I told you this would come up. I did tell him.
I need everybody's vigilance skill one more time because I lost my little note.
Okay.
So Zachary, what's yours?
Mine is I've got 1 yellow, 2 green. It's a rank 1.
Although
So-
do remember that everybody in close range of me get 2 boosts to their vigilance,
Vigilance as well.
as well as perception.
+2. Okay, that is an amazing skill. Okay, so 1.2 for you. All right. So Osh, what do you got for vigilance?
3.2 apparently.
3.2 for Osh. So that's 3 success, 2 advantage, right?
Just
to make sure.
Oh, did you want us to roll or
three
three ability,
3
2
proficiency,
boosts.
2.
No, 3
All right,
ability and then the 2 boosts. Sorry.
So the way that I break these down into numbers, so I have them on my notes, and this is how we'll do quite a few things. Is that your proficiency dice, your yellow dice, are full numbers, and then the point whatever are your
All right.
are gonna be your green die. So what do you have again?
3 ability plus Saren's boost.
Are we just gonna ignore the boost since we all get them? Or
Yeah,
does Sarah
Don't worry
not
about the
get them?
boost.
Okay.
And the boost in this case will be for when you actually do a roll. All right. So Natiri, what do you got?
I got 1 green.
This is all right. 1 point. So 0.1 for you. Excellent. And then Saren, what do you got?
0.2.
0.2. Cool. 0.2. And you all get a boost when you're around the lead, which is good to know. Good to know. What's the range on that, by the way? How close do they have to be to you to get that overall boost?
It basically, in engaged, they get 2 boosts. In close, they get 1 boost, and then beyond that, there's nothing.
Okay. So in space, they get 1, and then engaged on the ground, they get 2. Very cool. That's awesome. All right. So Osh, as the Admiral speaks and he's talking to Zakari, you notice on his uniform there is a bit of basic. He's got a kind of an Admiralty placard on this uniform, and the name says Kutch. And it starts to dawn on you. Dark green. The face. He looks very familiar. Some of his facial elements look familiar. He doesn't look like you've never met this guy before.
I lean into Zachary a little bit. I think you might be in a bit of trouble.
Don't make me more nervous than I already am, please.
Trask did admirably during the engagement.
I mean, Trask, I believe he came on his own free will.
I do not remember it going that way, and I
Hush,
think
hush,
Trask
shut
probably
up, shut
said
up,
as much already.
Hush.
I would advise honesty in this situation, Zachary.
The older gentleman in the back kind of interrupts. We don't have time for this.
Listen, we wouldn't have got out of that without Osh. We wouldn't have gotten out of there.
That is true. Without me, you wouldn't have done as much, but also without Trask. However, it does not seem like he wants to join us on further missions.
Trask spoke highly of your actions, but not the way we in the rebellion go about business.
Well, I am sorry.
Tell you what. You follow orders, and you never lie to me. And there's this awkward pause. And we'll get along just fine.
Okay, I can agree to that. I apologize. I apologize for lying.
Well, on to more important matters. The older gentleman takes a step forward. We have a bit of a problem. Problem that, I'm sorry to say, your escort here was required if we're going to solve it. The older gentleman looks over at you, Saren. He kind of just gives you a little bit of a look up and down. You can see the gray hair. He's probably pushing his 60s. Human. Our fleet has run into some imperial issues, as you've seen with the Freestar. They have located the fleet since we've entered this region. Now, 4 times. We've lost 1 heavy cruiser. The Admiral speaks up. And 2 escort vessels. We think we've got a spy.
Spy?
We don't know that. The gentleman next to him says, well, it's the only thing I can think of. Your batch is new. You're fresh face, new to the rebellion. Your ship hasn't been part of the fleet. Can't be one of you. We gotta make another jump in 4 hours. We've got enough fuel to make 3 more jumps. We can't keep jumping every 6 hours or so. We're burning fuel like... We're burning fuel too fast. Far too fast for our operations here.
Okay, and what do you want us to do about it?
Harris speaks up. Well, we can't really trust any on the ships here as part of the fleet, as it stands. So, I mean, our only bet right now is in 4 hours we're gonna have the fleet jump once again to another set of coordinates, new coordinates. We need you to investigate. Try to find how the Empire is locating our fleet, how they're able to find us. Only a few hours after we arrive.
Can I interject and say, when I was heading in, I saw something in the asteroid field. I didn't get a good look at it, but just it was hours, if that, before we got attacked. There was something. I shot at it. There was a bright light. I have no clue what, but there was just something wrong about the entire situation.
The older gentleman, where was this? This was on your way into the region, into Remembrance, or was this? Where was this?
This was when we were first rendezvousing. In the, do I know the system name that we first rendezvoused in?
You don't know the exact. You would know the system name, but it would be just a series of like letters and numbers at this point. It'd be just kind of a grid coordinate.
Right when the Free Star was attacked.
And Harris speaks up. So that was what you ran off and investigated when you first arrived.
Exactly.
We saw you hard burn, but we weren't sure why. I had meant to ask you about it, but things got complicated.
Little greasy.
What did you said you saw a flash.
I shot the asteroid. Something blew up in an unnatural way, and I couldn't catch what it was, but there was something there.
And it wasn't just some light reflecting off of the wreckage of the asteroid that you were popping.
I don't think so. I've never seen anything like that come out of an asteroid before.
Would I be able to get to engaged range without it being suspicious with Hera or with Kutch Senior?
You can roll to find out.
As we're
remember,
talking,
Hera is a projection on a briefing table, so she's not actually there.
So not her then. Kutch, ideally then.
Okay, you want to get closer to the Admiral.
Yes.
With everyone in the room talking, I would say you're more than welcome to try. Let me get a skill.
It's not necessarily that I'm trying to do it like stealthily so he doesn't notice, just so that it's not like I'm walking directly up to him and raises suspicion.
If you're just trying
that
to
way.
get close to him, I would say stealth check, just to see, not so much that you're like, disappearing in a puff of smoke, but you're quietly moving around as if maybe trying to get a better angle at the hologram communication. You are shorter than everyone else in the room by quite a bit.
Okay.
Feel free to roll. It will be against you, and you're trying to get close to the Admiral.
Yes. To engaged
Hang on 2
range.
seconds. I have to pull up the Admiral's stats. That's the thing.
He's old.
I'm especially trying to not raise suspicion with Saren.
Okay. So it's going to be 1 red and 1 purple for his vigilance skill.
All right.
Nice.
Ooh, barely, but you made it. 1 success. All right. So you managed to, in the disguise of kind of just trying to get a better angle, nobody seems to notice as you make your just a slight move around a couple of your companions and slot in next to the Admiral. He does kind of like half glance towards you, but doesn't seem to pay any never mind and continues with the conversation. Doesn't seem to really have noticed that you'd moved. No suspicion is raised. What would you like to do now that you've moved closer?
When there's a bit of a lull in his instruction and Zachary and Hera doing the back and forth about the asteroid stuff, I just kind of use the telepathy to say, I would appreciate at some point if the rest of us can be informed as to why Saren is above suspicion in this.
Can people respond to you when you use telepathy like that?
No.
The Admiral looks directly at you, turns towards you mid-sentence, and says, he's not. The timeline doesn't match.
What? Are you still talking to me?
No, sorry for the interruption. The Admiral glances back at you. So you say you saw something in the asteroid that you destroyed? Or
it was destroyed as I shot the asteroid. There might be a recording on the U-wing or even the Freestar. It was pretty unclear to me. But there's just something wasn't right there.
Harris speaks up at this point. As you can see, the Admiral's deep in thought. Well, it's another avenue worth investigating. Only got a few hours until we make our next jump. There's a bit of a pause in the conversation. Everyone's kind of thinking through. I could open up a fleet-wide investigation on this, but if we have a spy, they'll for sure hear about it. We don't know who it could possibly be. I have a few suspicions. The Admiral says, kind of glancing out towards the window this time, kind of turns a little bit away from you all, and looking out towards the fleet. But I don't know who I can trust. Anyone could have, well, I hate to say it, but anyone could have switched sides.
Is there anyone outside of Twin Sun Squadron that might be might have any sort of full alibi or would be beyond suspicion that might be helpful in our investigation?
Anyone beyond suspicion? And Hera speaks up before anyone else has a chance to answer. Well, I mean, anyone aboard the Freestar. We have not been with the fleet. We rendezvoused with you before making our final jump to the rendezvous coordinates with the fleet. So, we haven't known their location outside of this last jump since they gave us the update. But there's no way that anybody aboard the ship could be leaking the fleet's location. It's one of the reasons why our ship has been attached to this.
Barring, of course, multiple spies who are acting in concert.
It's a possibility. You are the newest to arrive. We are still missing, and the Admiral speaks up. We're missing a heavy cruiser. A couple of escort ships. We think maybe the Empire was intercepted them either before they reached the region or after. We're not sure.
How do you know what happened? Were they supposed to meet?
They were supposed to meet, designated coordinates at designated time. They never arrived. One of them we left a beacon, but they never seem to have either found it or... don't know.
Did you see them jump to hyperspace? Where were they supposed to leave from? Or is there evidence of them jumping to hyperspace?
Our contacts from where they've left, and he doesn't say exactly where they left, as that would probably give away wherever they were stationed or wherever those rebel assets are located. But he says our contacts from their initial point, as reported in that they had left, but they've never arrived. They haven't arrived yet. Maybe they're still stragglers. Maybe they took longer than anticipated, but...
Did they get an exit trajectory to calculate likely routes? I'm
well,
using my
made their
astrogation
route.
knowledge.
Ah, I gotcha. With your astrogation knowledge, because it's so high, you would... when they kind of gives you the timeline of when they should have arrived and kind of gives you some of the coordinates of points that they should have used to get here. They don't give you the initial starting point, but they do give you kind of like a portion of the course. I won't even have you roll for it. You would know they should have well been here by now, unless they ran into trouble. And trouble the galaxy's on fire at this point, so there's all kinds of trouble they could have run into. But Era does. It's painful to not have that heavy cruiser. We need all the firepower we can get. Don't lose hope. They might arrive. Just wait. You know how their captain is. A bit of a sigh from Hera. Well, Admiral says, you have free reign to investigate as you will. We're here as resources. You're welcome to use the ship's library. But bear in mind, we had you escorted here under the pretense that your squadron has committed some kind of crime or act of sabotage. There's quite a few rumors that have been spread. I apologize for this, but we felt it necessary so no one would be the wiser.
Would we be able to do more of that?
Do more of what?
If we could spread the word, perhaps, that one of our squad has been in some way penalized, or perhaps entirely restricted in their movement under suspicion of being an Imperial sympathizer, this might be something that could draw out others in the fleet who might be looking for cooperation in such nefarious activities. Something of a honeypot.
Potentially, yes. It wouldn't be too hard. I have a few officers that I trust. They helped me set the scene, as it were. Not that it was hard to do.
If we could perhaps suggest that Zachary, when he was hacking that tractor beam, instead sent a transmission that convinced them to shut down the tractor beam and allow Zachary to return and get the location of the rebel fleet. And we were to keep Zachary under arrest somewhere.
Hold on. You're offering me for a lot here, and you were pretty quick to think of that option there.
It's the option that makes sense in the current situation. You, of course, wouldn't actually be penalized beyond restricted
more likely?
movement.
I think a little nurse nerd probably did it. So
if we were able to convince others that I was responsible for this, then I would be more than willing to do my part to help the rebellion. But if you're unwilling to do so, I suppose I understand. This wouldn't put you in any danger. Unless...
With all due respect, no one is going to buy that the Imperial spy was someone who arrived at the fleet long after the attacks.
No, this would be a separate spy, so that the current spy might be looking to work with Zachary, and perhaps break Zachary out, some sort of escape situation. Well, we think of other plans to try to find them.
Turn to the Admiral. Admiral, is this really the best use of my resources?
I don't mind being the bait.
The Admiral looks to you. If this problem isn't solved, then the loss of resources will be far beyond whatever value you place upon yourself. And this squadron.
Fine.
Air speaks out. There is... I hate to say it, but there is, and we've all discussed it, and we haven't agreed, the Admiral says. Yes, but they should know all of the information that we have. Fine. But I don't condone this. Air turns toward you, Saren, and you, Zachary, on the hologram and kind of leans in a bit. There are some other vessels, captains, that I have had some dealings with, particularly in the Lothal sector. There is a single ship that's a turncoat from the Empire, and I don't have any hard evidence, but I'm uncomfortable around their captain. Something about the man puts me off, and the Admiral speaks of his history has been exemplary. They've supplied the rebellion with resources, credits. They have moved gear and equipment, refugees.
And who is it? Is it somebody we should know?
The admiral turns toward the large window and points out and forward. And he points toward a elongated ship. You can see its twin engines in front. It's quite small compared to the rest of the fleet. And you immediately recognize it as an Imperial ship. There's a variety of these vessels. They've been around for ages. And you all would recognize it as a Gazanti freighter with that gray and dark kind of metallic scheme of an Imperial Gazanti. Its single blaster, twin blaster cannon on the top seems to be pointing straight up for some reason. And it looks like it might be a little worse for wear, but that's who he points towards. The Mystic. Mythic, excuse me, the Mythic. And so she speaks. I haven't met the captain firsthand, but his record and the record of his crew speaks for itself. Yes, Admiral, but where do those credits come from? Sympathizers. Majority of these credits come from worlds that have aligned themselves with the rebellion but can't get out from the thumb of the Empire. I'm not having this conversation with you. Twin Sun Squadron, you are in charge of this investigation. We jump in 4 hours. How you wish to proceed is up to you. The resources of this vessel are at your disposal.
Can I just say one thing?
You can say as much as you like.
If I am going to be locked up, then you're going to need to do something with Trask, and we're going to need to make sure he hasn't talked to anybody, because he was with me the entire time, and he is pretty chatty.
Is this the plan that you'd like to go forward with? We'd have to make sure that it was a valuable target and one that the potential spy or spies could approach. And Harry speaks up. I would also like to look into the whatever it is that you saw in the asteroid belt.
I can see if I have any recordings on the U-wing.
Investigate that further, please, and bring me any information that you find.
Will do. Or aye.
So, you'd like to speak amongst yourselves? And the older gentleman... we may want to let them work in peace, and whatever their plan is, they're the only ones here that can move around the fleet freely without being questioned too much. Now, yeah, well, only works if they spread the rumor that one of them is a spy and a traitor, in which case movement's going to be a little more difficult. It's true, but it may work.
I'd
What about
ask,
that
Admiral,
missing
what is the cover for us being able to move so freely?
Well, it depends on where you want to go. With a squadron like this, under some kind of investigation, them only being rumors, we would have to assign you to duties that would be less pleasant as a cover for aborting other ships in the fleet or decks starship. I'm sure we can come up with something. It depends on what your plan is.
Well, if you'd provide us somewhere private to talk, perhaps we can figure something out.
Yes, I think
You don't
among
have
us
long.
we can discuss and figure out who the suspect is.
The Admiral, well, you're more than welcome to use my ready room. It's through those doors. And he points out towards a single door that just leads off. We'll be here if you need us, or you can head back to the hangar if you like. You're free to move about the ship.
I'm gonna head back to the hangar and see if I can pull anything from my ship computer before it gets wiped by one of the dumb techs out there. Or sorry, Admiral, not dumb, but they don't know her like I do.
He glares at you.
Sounds like a good idea. The rest of you, if you would mind, with me?
Oh, the ready room does have full access to our ship's library, and the ship has a link to the rest of the fleet, or at least some of it. Not all ships have the capability to share data in large volumes, but the Moncal ships do. Good luck. you guys are splitting up. So Saren, you're heading toward the hangar, or you're heading toward the ready room, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Zachary, you're heading towards the hangar bay.
U-wing. Yep.
U-wing to check out your sensor logs.
Yep.
What's the rest of the party doing?
I'm following Saren.
Same.
Okay. As you're heading to the ready room. Gotcha. All right. It's a short little walk. Door opens. As you make your way inside, you just see a single desk. You see a beautiful painting of a kind of green and bluish world. You see a number of personal effects on the desk, one of them being a picture of the Admiral and his son, a young, light green-skinned Rhodian, maybe about 10 or 11 years old. You definitely see the facial features of what you recognize as a very young mechanic that you have met. He's got a world's best dad coffee cup sitting on the desk.
Worlds.
Which
Worlds
world?
with an S. Is in all of them. But you
Rhodia's
do
best
see
dad.
also a data terminal inside. So, since you guys only had to go a short distance, you've walked into the ready room. What do you do?
All right, come on, let's get that over with. Do you really want to go with this honeypot plan?
Apparently not anymore, since Zachary is now walking around unescorted through the ship.
Zachary, as you leave, you have an immediate 2-man escort.
Okay.
They are keeping up appearances that you may be under investigation until told otherwise. And these guys don't know better, so, as you can tell. All right. So
Let's
you guys are
figure
in-
this out. What leads do we have? We have the disappearing ships that haven't arrived at the junk coordinates. We have the new Imperial ship defector that's supposedly also clean, but where did the credits come from? And how do you just show up being so helpful? And then finally, we've got the U-wing data, and then maybe something in the library. I can't imagine what we get from there outside of maybe some information on those missing ships. What they are, what classes, who captained them. Any thoughts?
Someone coming in with that many credits might have some sort of relationship with the quartermasters on various vessels. See if they have any kind of information between them all that might give some indication of maybe casual conversation that may have given away information on where the credits came from, if there is suspicion there.
Okay, and while they're talking, can Saren try bringing up the logs on the computer relating to the ship, the fleet layout, and
Okay.
try and locate which ships are missing from that layout, the ones that have not arrived?
Okay. So go ahead and roll for me a. What skill are you thinking of? What angle are you coming at this? I'll let you choose the skill that you're going to be using.
It's from an analytical approach, so yeah, it's looking up literally the fleet manifest for each jump and trying to locate which ships are missing in the next jump next jump calculations, and then having found out who those ships are, bring up just the details of those ships. So
This will be general. I'm just going to be working through a bunch of general data. So probably a computer's check. I would even allow an education check, as we normally use that as kind of like an investigation skill, investigating and trying to put together pieces. So either one of those works for you. And I will say for this, because of the access that you have, it'll be an easy roll. And because of where you're at, I'll say 2 boost die as well. So he's got the fleet information kind of on hand, being the task force admiral.
a success and a threat.
Okay. So, checking out the ships that are missing. You get a... But you don't have... It seems that they're purposefully keeping the names of ships and their classes encoded. But you do have kind of a classification. So you're missing a... it looks like there is a battle carrier missing. there is 2 escorts. These would be 2 escorts. In this case, they just say hammerheads, as if the capital ship that's missing, and we're talking, it's definitely like heavy cruiser. This is one of their bigger ships. It didn't arrive. It doesn't give you a ton of details because it's so important, but you do see that they had plenty of supplies to make it. The route was plotted, and you can see, I'll say that you can see in this region, not where it started from, but in this region, you get a sense of where the route was going through, and it was purposefully avoiding known Imperial patrols in the region. So it should have arrived. So something has stopped it, or at very least slowed it down significantly, and it should have been here about a week ago.
Well, for the most part, this looks to be a dead end, short of, hey, there's some ships missing.
I will say, with that roll, because it was success, the last coordinate jump that it should have made before it made the final jump to the fleet's position, you do have that information. And it would have been the one closest to Imperial patrols out of the entire route. And it's not too far away.
Surely we should inspect that, Saren.
That sounds like a definite lead. It looks like we may want to split up further. Zachary is looking into whether he's got any information about that strange occurrence on the asteroid. We're going to need someone to go and try and talk to this Imperial captain, if we can, or at least some of his crew, get a judge of how legit they are. It seems a little too obvious, if I'm honest. Imperial defector ship shows up, and then suddenly the fleet is getting attacked. Of course, the first place you think is, well, it's the Imperial defector ship, right? But still, a lead worth checking.
Are you sure it's okay for one person to go? It could be dangerous.
Then perhaps a pair. I don't know. My proposal would be, I am probably the most likely to be able to travel unnoticed, let's say, undisturbed, given my somewhat unique position.
And
I
that
could
is...
go and have a look at the coordinates, see if there's anything there, try and keep my head down and come back. Look for something similar to perhaps what Zach has seen. I'll just jump out to see if there's any sign of trouble. Potentially, it's a good idea to keep people aboard the ship if there's any suspicion in our direction together.
Do we have some sort of shuttle service available to us? The Ewing is our only ship on this ship right now, and that's in use by Zachary. Getting to
I'm
other
sure
places.
we can arrange something with the Admiral. Traveling backwards and forwards as, janitorial staff in a U-Wing seems a little unlikely.
If we could somehow make ourselves a target, that could be useful. All that trash talk over the comms to the endless judgment.
And you want to do that with just one person in one X-Wing?
Well, you know the ship I fly. My thinking is I have a little bit more option to not fight, if necessary.
Well, what would you like us to do while you're performing your little stealth mission, Saren?
Check out this Imperial ship, this defector. Get aboard, talk to his crew. I doubt we'll have word with the captain. He's unlikely to want to speak to janitorial visitors, but we're likely to get more from his crew anyway, especially if you use those womanly wiles of yours.
That's my forte. 70% of the time, it works every time.
You do seem to have some proficiency with that. That could give us an advantage.
Well, what are we waiting for? We might as well get this right into action, boys.
Should we all just go together for this first interrogation?
Let's go speak with Zachary before we do anything else. Inform him of the plan and see if there's anything we can glean from what he's found on the U-wing. Nothing else. If I'm to dart out to this location, it would be good to know if there's something to look out for.
Speaking of which, Zachary, let's change the perspective over to the hangar bay. As you have arrived to your U-wing, it's a busy hangar, but you've managed to pull yourself into the U-wing, head over to the cockpit, and bring up your computer system and look at your sensors. So what are you looking for? And let's figure out what your role is going to be.
First of all, I don't know if you'll allow this, but I've got I bought a manual for my U-wing. It's a workshop manual. It's meant mostly for repairs, but seems like it says it covers basically it's a must-have, and it covers pretty much the entire ship system. So that downgrades the difficulty of any check. It says for repair or maintenance, but I'm gonna ask if this is similar enough.
Because you haven't used it, I will allow. Depends on what you're trying to do exactly. So you're looking into your sensor logs to see something, or what are your goals here?
So I'm gonna go back into my sensor logs, and maybe I'm not sure if the U-wing has some sort of visual recorder. And basically, I hadn't got a chance to, but I'm just reviewing all the data that I collected after I destroyed the asteroid. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be sorry, I'd like to use my computer skill for that if possible.
Computer skill to go over the data. All right, definitely. Now, you did try a scan initially, and it failed when you first rolled over to it. So in this case, it's going to be much harder to go back through the data and compile something that makes sense. You can definitely try, though, and I will allow you to use the manual in this role. It's a little outside of the realm of it, but it's kind of cool idea. I like the idea that you're like using the manual for the sensors to figure this out. So
there's some data, some metadata in there or something that I'm looking for.
Okay. So go ahead and this is gonna be. You're gonna have to roll a 2 purple and a red roll. The red to like recalibrate your data system, and part of the whatever data you've got left in like the scanners system. And you're in there kind of splicing wires at this point, following the manual, trying to get the resolution higher, following the manual. So there is a chance you could screw something up in here as you're working on the system. So that's what that red's going to represent.
What if I say enhance, like the people do on CSI?
And you can say it all day long. I will not give you a boost for it, though.
Oh, I wish Trask were in here to help me with this. All right. Enhance. There it is. 2 successes and a threat.
2 successes and a threat. All right. The scanner computer comes to life, and at first it's just fuzz. And there's just nothing really there, and then you kind of smack it a few times, and you dial it in a little bit more, keep saying enhance, and eventually somehow it comes to an alignment, and you get about 4 good frames. The first one is light from a blaster shining off something metal. The second frame is that same blast chunking rocks, and you can see the silhouette of something metal with almost like a dagger-like bottom to it. Not a lot of detail. The third frame, the rocks fly past, and you get one shot of just the top half of something no bigger than about a quarter the size of an A-wing. Rounded top, and a small antenna sticking out the top.
Can I do an intelligence check on this? See if I know what it is?
On the last frame, you see a rock hitting it and breaking it in half, and it rolls the top of it over. And so that's the angle you have. It broke it in half, sparks, a little bit of an explosion, which you gather was probably an explosion that you saw with the naked eye. But you can see the top of it now. And there's a little bit of this pinkish red color painted onto it.
Mm-hmm.
It's blurred though, and you can't see the details. You definitely see like a red or a pink on the top. So what would you like to do?
Well, this is mechanical. It's some sort. So I guess my options would be either a computer check, because it is a computer, I guess, or maybe a warfare check, or even an underworld check. Well, actually,
roll
underworld's
for
maybe not
me.
appropriate.
For this, I'll tell you what you can roll if you want
Okay.
to. You're trying to
Yeah.
identify it, right?
Yes.
So I would say in this case, it's going to be a core
I've got
worlds
mechanics
check.
as well. Core worlds.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
going to be a core worlds check.
Okay.
It's going to be a hard difficulty with 2 setbacks because the image is awfully blurry. You can barely make it out.
Hard
can
is
almost-
2 red, right?
Hard is no. Hard is 3 purples.
Okay, 3 purples.
And then I'll tell you like it's hard. It's either a simple where there's no dice, and easy where there's 1 purple. Average is 2 purple. Hard is 3 purple. And then I'll tell you if there's upgrades, which is when
Right.
we turn them into reds.
Gotcha. Okay, so
So-
3 hard with 2 setbacks.
Yeah, with 2 setbacks because you're dealing with some really blurry imagery. It's hard to get the details out of it.
Are the soldiers still in here with me?
They have waited outside.
Ah, damn it. Okay.
They're out. I mean, you're in a U-wing. You can literally like look around the corner and see
Can
the
I
outside.
yell and ask if I can, like, just to get their eyes on it and, friendly eyes?
Okay. So what do you say to them?
I say, I think I see something on here. Can I get you guys to help me out here? This is I might know what this is. I'm just thinking. Do you guys recognize it?
2 of them look at each other. All right, whatever. He pulls himself inside. What is it? The hell is that?
That's what I was thinking. I feel like maybe I've seen it before.
I'll give you a boost die for an assist.
Okay.
Sure. Why not?
I failed. Or no,
Nope,
yeah,
got
I
that
passed,
success for
actually.
the
No,
boost.
you passed it.
Yeah,
you passed it.
He passed it. Because it was the boost die, so maybe he looks over and recognizes it when I don't.
As glancing at it, and this was a core check for you, right? So you do recognize this. You recognize this from, and you can tie this into your backstory however you like, on why you would recognize this. But yeah, you've seen this before. It's a relay of some kind, and you immediately recognize the red. And as you glance at it closer, this is an old relay. This is some kind of relay probe or communications relay. It's a data relay of some kind. And the red, this is Republic. This is old tech. This is pre-Empire. I mean, that's super old, obviously, but it's older. You don't recognize the model, but you've seen variants. And the red, it's definitely Republic Navy of some kind.
I think at this point, I want to calm the rest of my squad and see if they're on their way and meet up with them basically to discuss what I've discovered.
Okay. So you... Oh, that reminds me. Hang on a second. I can't not use this because a community member made it and it's amazing. Oh, I don't have it. Wasted, do you have a communicator?
Saved? I don't think so.
Ah, neither do I. Okay. Remember,
I know
have
the
it
one
on our
you
table
mean,
next
sorry.
time. Yeah. We have a community member made us a comm unit that actually makes a noise. So you can be like,
Oh,
I'm
that's
comming
cool.
over so-and-so, bloop, and you can hit the button and it's actually a comm.
Nice.
But I don't have it saved. It's on another table. So I'll pick it up next time. But all right, so you comm over. Who do you call and what do you say?
I think I'm gonna calm Saren because
Okay.
he's the sort of the de facto leader. I'm gonna say, Saren, I found something kind of weird. You guys might want to come over here. I'll meet you all, but this is strange. I'm on my U-wing, Veronica.
We're already on our way.
Okay.
Glad to hear you found something.
Okay, it's a few moments. It takes a little while. It's such a large ship, but they eventually make their way down and approach the U-wing, with you sitting in the cockpit. And as they all make their way inside, past the doors.
So I found something quite strange. We've got a Republic relay here. It could have been providing information about the fleet. And right now I'm wondering, are those missing ships from the Rebel fleet, are they Republic design? I know we've got some old Clone Wars vessels here. I can't really tell anything apart, but we've been thinking that these missing ships are something happened to them, but maybe they've done something to us. I don't know. There's something weird going on here. There's Republic tech, and I don't often see the Empire using this unless they have to.
Before any of us go any further, is it possible for us to scan Veronica for any kind of listening devices? Are any of you able to do that?
I've got my computers. I know the ship inside out. I think I would recognize if something was wrong, but I can do a system sweep if you really want.
It would be nice for us to have an area that we can be sure we're not going to be heard by anyone.
Okay.
All right, roll for me a computers check, and I will roll your difficulty.
Okay. Did I upgrade my computers? Hold on just a second. I gotta refer to my stat sheet. No. Oh yeah, I did actually. Two successes, 2 advantage.
Okay, you run a internal scan, sending the ship's sensors kind of inward, and you don't notice anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. Well, in either case, I got some pretty sweet music we can turn on, but I don't know how anything would have happened to Veronica, but
I'm understanding your caution, however. Perhaps if we were to go on a little journey, I need to fetch my ship anyway.
sure.
Be a lot easier to make sure we weren't heard if we were, say, out in space with the power off.
Works for me.
That does seem like a good idea.
We're all going together.
I mean,
Unless someone needs to stay here. I think
No,
it would
no.
be,
Just confirming.
at least for now, let's discuss plans with Zach, and by the sounds of things, we're going to be needing to go to other ships in the fleet anyway.
yep.
Ooh, before you guys go any further here, let me get a warfare check from anybody who was inside the Admiral's office at a hard difficulty.
Okay.
That was me.
I think we all were, weren't we?
Not everybody.
Oh no,
you
sorry,
weren't.
the office. Right, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah. In the ready room.
What am I rolling? Sorry.
Warfare check at a hard difficulty.
You're
2 success, 1 threat.
Oh man, success, and 1 failure. Who failed it?
Me.
Okay. Just checking.
Pretty-
Whoever had that 1 threat, take 1 strayed. You
Oh.
brain vessel.
Oh no, that's not me.
All right.
That's not you. You're good. So you guys, as you're having this conversation and you're thinking about it, like, you kind of remember some old holo reels. The last time that you heard the term battle carrier specifically mentioned, would have been a class of vessel that was. It's a term that isn't technically correct, but was used quite a bit during the Clone Wars, for the main battleship of the Republic.
Zach, did you say to us that it was the Republic thing already?
Yep.
Okay.
And you did say it, so that's why
Okay.
you're all having this conversation. You would have been like mulling around a little bit as you're having this conversation.
The office we were in, was that Kutch's office, or was that the other older guy?
It was Kutch's office. It had pictures of his Rhodian child,
Right.
That
That would
you
be
are
creepy
all
if it was
familiar with.
if it was the other one. That would be creepy. Yeah.
and you didn't ask who the older gentleman was, so you never got introduced.
Saren, did you know who the other individual with us was in that room?
I check.
Roll a core worlds check. Easy difficulty, 1 purple. You specifically roll that. You might know.
One advantage, nothing else.
One advantage. You know, with the advantage, something to do with politics. You don't know exactly.
Some scumbag politician, I think. Vague memories, but yeah, not sure. So you say this beacon is Republic?
And we've got a missing Republic ship that never called for help or anything, at least that we know of.
You think they'd have time to call for help?
Haven't been in that many big capital ship battles, but I think I would have had time to at least send something out.
Wouldn't
An
that
old
require a
Republic
lot of
relay
people?
in this sector would explain completely how they found the fleet, but it would not explain how these cruisers have not arrived.
Well, I'm just spitballing here, but what if they dropped the relay? It was hidden within an asteroid. Now, I mean, it could have been. We were in a pretty far out there. It could have been there already, but it seemed like it was transmitting. It had, or it was at least active.
No, the information is solid, but I'm not sure it gives us a clear path to act on.
I mean, we should get out in space if we're gonna have this conversation. We may have said too much already.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna start booting up the U-wing systems.
Okay. You get a little bit of gruff from the two guards there, and they call it in, and they get a call back from the admiral that says they're there. Clear launch. Let them do what they need to do. They seem confused, but they let you start the ship up. Hatches close, and are you all loading in and leaving?
Yes.
To make sure. Okay.
For now,
And the
yeah.
U-wing launches, leaving behind the MC-75 Nomad. Where are you heading?
Just out into kind of open space, a few, maybe like 40 clicks away from the fleet, outside of close sensor range.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and put it on the board. Go for it.
Okay.
If you put your mouse over, once you put it down on the ground, hit 2, and you'll put it in flight mode, because that's a thing I did for the models.
Cool.
There you go. Sometimes it'll go a little catty.
Now it's in crash mode.
All right, so you guys are all loaded up into the U-wing and moving away from the fleet, kind of burning away. You can see it kind of dwindling in the distance. You pass by that old Providence with the engine still on fire and the chunk taking out the forward section of it. It looks like there's a repair team still trying to work on it, or you're not quite sure what they're doing. The ship looks like it's in pretty rough shape, though. As you burn away, getting farther and farther away, you get about 40 kilometers out.
I'm going to turn off all the ship systems other than life support.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn around to everyone and say, if there was anything transmitting, it won't be transmitting now.
And you glance over at your computer, being so far away from the fleet and being shut down in the U-wing for the most part. If there was anything transmitting at this point, it would be super easy to the point where you wouldn't need a roll to find it. It's dead space. So you check your computer system to see passive scans. There doesn't seem to be any outgoing signals from the U-wing.
So we're probably safe in here. So what do you guys want to do? The fleet may be compromised. I don't know if you guys learned anything while I was back in Veronica, but there's something going on here. There's a missing ships. I just don't even know what to do. We've only got 4 hours before the fleet jumps. So either way, we're going to need to get rendezvous points. I don't know if the fleet's going to be happy to give that to us. We got to get moving.
And at this point, it's almost been about a half hour, at least, almost maybe close to 45 minutes. You are burning time.
All right, I think we're going to have to split up for this. Staying together and checking all bases, we don't have the time for that.
Okay. So I can take some of you guys in the U-wing, or we can take multiple starfighters. What are you thinking?
I'm
You're a
thinking
leader.
we still have potential. I wonder. We've got potential in the library systems to try and find information about this relay network. You never know, there might be some old Republic data in there still. I'd like to know a little bit more about... I mean, we're not like we're going to be able to search for it, I don't think, not in the time we have. A little bit more about potentially this network and how far it spreads.
The relay itself was gone as well. It was completely destroyed, which I remember from my role.
And based on the size of what you'd seen, you did get an idea of scale. This would be a very low power. This wouldn't be very strong. It's very small. Like about half the size of an A-wing at most, if not even smaller than that. Like a big torpedo at that size. So, its capabilities would be limited of whatever its job actually is. You're not sure.
Short range relay, in other words, probably. Okay, so we want someone doing research. That's one person. How do you figure we split the rest of us? Do we want to look for the ships? Do we want to try to speak to the captain of the Mythic?
I'd like to... With the Mythic, I'd rather we avoided the captain completely. He seems to be the most suspicious one aboard. But if we can get aboard that ship and maybe sit in a role as a mechanic or a janitor, get access to actually look around, maybe we'd find information about where exactly these supplies and this money has been coming from. Chance to talk to the crew in a way that
I do also
is a little
know,
bit off the books.
We do know a mechanic too who might be able to help us get into cover.
If you need me to do the talking, that's what I'll do. I'm not very good with computers.
Okay. What about the rest of us? So we've got somebody doing research. We've got somebody trying to seduce, apparently, the crew.
I don't like the idea of sending someone aboard that ship alone.
I can look after myself.
She does have quite a large axe now.
Yeah, be careful with that, by the way. Veronica was just refinished on the inside, so.
A large axe and potentially the least convincing engineer you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you had a mechanic that can join me?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he'd be willing to, but Trask would probably be able to help you blend in, but I can't read him. I don't know what's going on with him right now.
You can't read him?
It's not a third grade textbook.
Saren looks slightly surprised that you got to third grade.
Are we still role playing here? Or are you just being horrible?
I said Saren.
All right, well,
so what do you guys
that
wanna do?
leaves one or two of us. So what should we do? Are we going to go investigate the ship? Do you want to just stay among the fleet? All of us among the fleet?
Investigating the ship is going to be risky, but a good idea. It's the most likely chance of solid information.
Let me be the janitor. I could pull off janitor pretty well.
I've got the, if you guys want me to go check out the fleet, I've got the astrogation skills. I've been tracking ships for a long time.
Zachary, what if you and I were to go to the library and research? The other two can handle investigations on the other ship, if that's what Nadiri wants to do alone, or if there's something else that Saren wants to accomplish.
Yeah, sure. All right, so
In my opinion, we have three leads. We have that Imperial ship. It sounds like Neytiri is confident alone. I'm less confident myself, but so be it. We have the research to see if we can find more about this relay, and we have to check out that fleet. If Neytiri is to do one, the research is probably the safest task of the lot. Visit the Admiral and use his data pad.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps a second to go out and check the fleet, be sure that we're not caught out.
Yeah, so let's just head back towards the we're probably going to need to get some more starfighters anyway. So should we head back towards the Free Star? Now that we seem to be fairly clear of bugs.
Well, Saren could check in his tie and be safe, relatively safe out here alone. I wouldn't be able to get away quickly with the Y-Wing. Especially if something falls on it again.
You're right. I'm not exactly burning fumes in old Veronica either, so that might be a good scouting mission for you, Saren, if you'll take it.
I'll take it. Either way, we're burning time. Let's head in the direction of the Free Star while we make our final plans.
Okay.
All right, so you guys are heading course toward the Free Star, which is picked up the rear of the fleet. Easy
I
enough for you
assume
to
that's
drive.
still where our fighters are docked.
It is. So, coming into the same bay as before, you do see your fighters there, the maintainers working on it, including Trask.
So I'm going to put down the boarding ramp and head back towards the Admiral's, or the bridge, because I know that the computer is there.
Well, you guys went back to the Free Star, so unless you're you're
yeah,
staying
right.
aboard, you're going to stay aboard the Nomad and let them take the U-wing.
Honestly,
the
it
order.
sounds like you're only here to drop me off.
Yeah, we'll just drop him off, then head over to the Nomad.
Well, we could also drop off Neytiri, and she could take her ship. I guess that wouldn't look like a janitor coming. So we'll need to drop off Neytiri ourselves. Then you and I go to the what's it, Nomad? Yeah.
Do you guys want to try to get Trask to come with us, or do you think Neytiri can handle this on her
I feel
own?
like you need to leave Trask alone.
All right.
Judging by what we saw in the Admiral's office, I don't think bringing him into things at the moment is a good idea.
What
You
was in
say
the
he-
wait? What was in the office?
A picture of him as a child with
That's
Admiral
kind of weird.
Kutch, who is
That's
his father,
weird.
obviously.
Oh,
Let's just say, let's not get the Admiral's kid killed if we can avoid it.
I thought I was just being racist because I thought they looked similar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
Okay, so I guess we drop. So is Neytiri getting dropped off at the Nomad? Neytiri, what do you want to do? Do you want? I mean, we can try to lay cover for you and drop you off in the U-wing. You can try to find your own transport over to the Mythic. What do you want?
I think if we
not
drop
my
off,
own.
I'd take
Yeah,
him in
go.
the U-wing. That's legitimate cover. Just to
Alright.
transport moving personnel around.
All right.
Either way, I doubt I'll be in frequent contact, so just keep your eyes open.
Let's head over to the. If you guys are all right with that, I'll head over towards the Mythic. And if you guys don't, you can tap me on the shoulder.
Okay.
But
Do you-
yeah, well,
Bank the U-wing over towards the Mythic, towards the head of the fleet. You see, as you come over towards it, you have to roll over belly on to match up with the small hatch that
Oh, yeah.
the Gazanti has on the bottom. The U-wing has an emergency hatch on the bottom of it. You line up with it and manage to, if this is what you'd like to do, you're going to dock
Mhm.
up.
Yep.
All right. You dock. You can hear the impact of metal and then as the space in between fills with air. Immediately, the static on the radio clicks over. What the hell are you doing? Attaching to my ship.
We were asked to drop off an engineer from the Free Star. Heard that you guys could use some from the Admiral. I think this is a poor lie.
An engineer? Roll a deception check.
Okay.
He's got this kind of he like elongates his words, and he definitely gives you the vibe of a core worlder.
Am I doing a? Are you rolling the?
I am rolling his. Actually, let me just pull it up for you, and I'll let you roll it, so
Okay.
you'll know.
Okay.
Let me just find him real quick. Deception.
I look
is
over to
discipline?
Neytiri and say, knowing you, I should have probably said janitor.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was assuming I was gonna be. No.
She's already
correct.
holding her broom.
2 purple roll is your difficulty.
Okay.
And you do have, just a heads up, you guys do have your destiny point pool. Don't forget about that. I know it's easy to forget about.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to upgrade your skill rolls, that's a thing you can do. But
Let's
So.
just roll this one, probably.
okay.
Okay, 2 successes, 2 threats.
I wasn't told anything about any kind of engineer.
It came from on high. We were just at the Nomad,
Admiral sent him.
just rearranging assets, and it's a her. She's a her.
Oh. Well done.
She's very beautiful.
You don't say. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll
I
open the
roll my
hatch
eyes.
now. Go ahead and take, I will say, actually, no. With that 2 threat, he's a bit more suspicious. Any other lies, deceits, conversation rolls against this character will have a automatic setback due to the threat rolled there with your lie. He doesn't completely believe you, but it's enough to get the foot in the door. So
Okay.
there's a level of suspicion. So please
Okay.
try to remind me if I forget. I should
Yeah.
be able to remember that.
What's do we know the person's name? Is it the captain?
You're on the comms with him if you'd like to ask.
Are you? Can I ask who I'm speaking to? Is this the captain, or is this a? I don't know what the term would be.
I'm
Somewhat-
the commander of this vessel.
Okay. Well, we'll see you in a second, or at least she'll see you.
Right. My name is Flea. Flea Mevik. Captain Mevik will be fine.
I do hope Captain Mevik will be fine, and if you are not and require medical assistance, I may be able to attend to you.
I just like give him a nudge away from the comm.
We're fine here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mythic out. And clicks off the comms. You guys hear as the hatch is opened inside the Mythic, and there are 2 individuals that you all see. So the hatch is actually in the floor, and you guys have locked onto the belly of the ship. So there's this weird moment as you're trying to switch ships, you're changing gravity. As you're walking around the bottom of the U-Wing, as you switch over to the Gazanti, the gravity flips, because you're going to be on their gravity plating in a second. But as the hatch opens up, you see 2 humans. You see a human, a little twitchy as he stands and looks down, and he's kind of like his head moves around a little fast, little tiny movements. He's a little gaunt. His face is a bit sunken. He's got a kind of a yellowish skin tint to him. He's human. On his hip, he's got what looks like some kind of metal club apparatus, and a small pistol on his other hip. He's got a rounded helmet, and he's got a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow to him. These are not Imperial uniforms that he's wearing. Got a vest on. Everything looks a little bit ratty. Get a sense that if these guys were in the Empire, or if this guy was, it's been a while, and he's definitely changed out of the crew clothing that you would normally see aboard an Imperial ship. But he looks down, and he's a little twitchy. He's, Let me help you up here. Didn't realize we were getting new crew in. My name's Sam. I'm first officer. Puts a hand out.
We're both looking down at each other.
Oh, sorry, that was to me. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You're the one getting out of the ship, right? You're boarding.
Yeah. Sorry, Eck was just talking. I didn't want to interrupt. I put my hand out and I shake it firmly.
Pulls you up, and there's this moment of like sickening, like you're on a roller coaster as you're pulled up into the ship, and that feeling of like your stomach turning as the gravity shifts, and you have to kind of climb up onto the deck. We don't really need a mechanic. You don't have to be here. I mean, I'm sure there's just a misunderstanding. We've got plenty of crew already.
I hear this and I just start closing the hatch.
Hey, wait, what? You just shut it?
Yeah.
As the air dissipates. Wow, they just dumped you here, didn't they?
I look up, like, frowning, a bit frustrated, and I look back down and saying, and sternly say, "I'm just following orders."
Right. So what's your specialty?
Shit. Sorry. Sorry.
And as you
Oh,
as you look
God.
around while you're thinking about this, as you have a chance to kind of look around and your stomach settles from that flip, you look around and you see that you're in a cargo bay. It's about 2 stories tall in this section of the ship. Large boxes, crates, barrels all around you. A few more crew members moving around, including a astromech that's completely it looks like black and gray. Definitely looks like an Imperial astromech. As it runs by, it stops, turns for a second, and sees you, and gives off this like long whistle, and then moves away.
I'm looking at this astromech as it's going away. It's like I go, astromech is my special forte.
Oh, you're a droid engineer, huh? And you can see he kind of catches himself as he speaks a bit, and all right. I mean, surprisingly, yeah, we could actually use yours. Ours has been acting strange for a while. Maybe you can figure out what's wrong with him. Yeah, why don't you do? Hey, C4, get in here. It comes back. It rolls up towards you. Listen, new crew member's gonna take a look at you. What's your name?
Neytiri, you?
Itiri, Sam. You need anything? Talk to somebody else. I'm gonna go talk to the captain. You're probably not gonna be on board ship long, so don't get too comfortable. It's whatever. And he kind of waves you off, and the droid is looking at you now, and he walks away. It looks like he's heading towards what looks like another little hallway that leads out of the cargo bay and turns around a corner, and you can hear steps leading upwards.
Can I do a perception check?
Sure. What would you like to look for?
I want to take a full look at my surroundings and ideally how far the travel was to where the Sam was moving up to.
How far away where he went? You lost sight of him as he turned a corner. So in ranges in this game, it'd be about short range, but it'd only be maybe 15 feet. Not very far at all. He went around the corner and he started going up. So you hear the footsteps and they get quieter and quieter as it sounds like he's reached the second deck. Whatever is up there. And with your mechanicals, what's your mechanical skills? Pretty low, right? So,
horrendous, yeah.
Yeah, so you wouldn't really know the layout of this vessel. It's just by its size, it's probably got maybe 3 or 4 floors to it. You're not really sure. But there is some more rustling around in the cargo bay. There seems to be other individuals in here working. And then the astromech directly in front of you. You don't immediately see them. You do see just lots of crates, big boxes. This place is packed. They're moving cargo.
Am I able to still comm back to the other group?
You've got comms. So you could still do it now, yes, until they leave. Unless you've got long range comms. Unless you're communicating.
Oh, an inventory.
What communicator do you have? What did you buy when you started the campaign?
I have no communicator.
You cannot call anyone ever.
You should. I think you bought one, Charlie. Check equipment.
It was one of the things that I recommended you guys started the campaign with. So I'll
check the
guess
gear
you
tab.
Stimpack, tool belt, disguise kit, backpack.
Yeah, you didn't pick up a comm, so remember that you do not have a comm unit.
Disguise pack. That's interesting.
So, what would you like to do? The only communications that you would have access to is whatever comms the ship has.
So, using a destiny point and knowing Neytiri, could we have a quick rewind and Osh hand it off his communicator to Neytiri before leaving?
That's the beautiful thing about destiny points, absolutely.
All right.
Especially if it's a low value item. I will say that you have a comm unit on you. And you would still be able to talk to the rest of the crew because they haven't really left yet. They've just closed the hatch and gotten that far away.
I wanna comm in and and say, ooh, I'm debating on if how bad is my computers. Okay, I'm gonna come in and say, I have access to the droid. Is there anything specific you want me to do in terms of extracting information with the droid?
We could requisition the droid.
How close is it to the hatch? I mean, the droid could.
You guys are like right at the hatch. I mean, he's at the hatch.
The
You
droid
guys
could
have
slip
sealed
and
the hatch
fall
already,
into-
but you haven't launched yet.
Natiri, can you look around? Is there anyone nearby? We could slip that droid in here pretty quickly, but
I don't know if that's a good idea because that's really gonna. Okay, let's do it.
You're sneaky.
Okay.
Oh God.
All
The
right, so I'm
best
gonna open
maintenance
the hatch back
facilities
up.
are on the Nomad, so if the droid really needs attention, then we could simply say that it required
That's
better
it.
maintenance than was
Exactly.
available on the Gozanti. You're the specialist in this area.
Yep. It
Granted
has
full
virus.
access by the Admiral.
And we're
You
just
get
shipping
a
it back.
series
That's all.
of beeps from the droid who is standing next to you while you do this, who can speak basic because he's an astromech. And the beeps go from curious, low, to the sounds of kidnapping, which he starts going. "Doot, doot,
That's my
doot,
favorite
doot,
Simon and
doot."
Garfunkel song.
I think I've got a skill that
The droid is flipping its shift, Natiri. What are you going to do?
put the speaker up to the droid. I've got a maybe I can talk to it.
Okay, yeah, I put the speaker up to the droid.
So I'm gonna try to convince the droid to chill out. I've got a speaks binary thing which allows.
You have speaks binary.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you actually understand what it's saying. The way that we play speaks binary is a talent. It doesn't say that this is specifically how it works, but this is how it's always played in my games. If you take this talent, you can understand the beeps and whistles of a droid. And at first, the droid comes up to you, and you hear him hearing the conversation, and you hear little bits of intriguing. Interesting. I wonder what kind of place that you come from. It seems very curious. Who are you? Oh, and don't know your species. It kind of has been asking you questions this whole time. Wait, kidnap? Take me? Take me where? Requisition? Are you even rebels? Who are you? I won't stand for this. I am the finest mind on this ship.
Okay, so
And this is what you hear.
he's got the speaker up next to the. Can I communicate back with him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He can speak basic.
All right, so
Or
he can
hear
speak
ba-
basic, right?
he can understand
Hear it,
basic, but
yeah.
he can't speak it. Yeah.
So he's got the communicator up to the droid, and I'm saying, listen, relax. Everything's gonna be all right.
Don't
It's
tell
just-
me to relax, ruffian.
There's
I'm
some.
the finest detective astromech to ever exist.
I don't know if you've been checking fleet logs, but have you noticed we've got a old Clone Wars era vessel back there, half destroyed, and we're missing 3 big ships? We're trying to
Missing.
get to the bottom of that. Missing. They're gone.
An entire ship missing.
Multiple entire ships with all of your droid friends gone. We're trying to figure out what's going
Fine
on.
mystery indeed.
Indeed.
Point me to the evidence that you have.
Well, we're still
Find the
accumulating.
culprit. He's a really off droid. Something's wrong with this thing, you think?
There's a lot. Do you want to just come aboard? We gotta go.
Indeed.
We've got to be quiet about this too.
Take me to
So-
the scene. And all you hear, Terry, is whistles and beeps, first of anger and kind of like excitement now. He wobbles back and forth on his 2 little legs. His little third wheel pops out. He runs over towards the hatch and whacks it a few times. Well, get on with it, brute. Open the door.
Oh my goodness. All right,
I'm gonna have to use the computers to open up the hatch on my end, right?
It's a mechanical hatch. So
Just gotta
right now
twist
it's been vented. It's just got 3 buttons and a large like a large submarine hatch almost. This is something that they don't use often, it seems, except for these kind of direct transfers. So do you want to open the hatch?
Yes.
Okay,
No,
easy
wait.
enough. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so easy enough for you to do. You.
Sorry. Go on. Sorry.
No, you're fine. What do you want to do?
I can open up the hatch all safely, right? Like it's not gonna mess up.
Yeah,
we're still connected.
So I would have warned you, but in this case, it's a simple setup. It has been vented already, but because it's a very simple lock, it's kind of you're spacefaring. You understand some of the basics. You tap a couple of keys, get the green light letting you know that it's got its O2 back, and open it back up. Bang on the other side of the door, ding ding ding, which is actually the hull of the U-wing, and you guys are able to open up on your end. And the astromech runs forward and drops down as soon as the door is open. I would like it would be
Please,
Sakari. Roll for me a coordination check or a strength check. Do you dodge or try to catch him?
So who did you say?
Sakari. You were the one that was kind of coordinating the opening of the door, so you would have been the one kind of right underneath.
Oh man. I'll do I don't know if I want my little buddy to be hurt already. What's is it just called strength, the skill? I don't think I've used it before.
Brawn. Brawn is considered your strength. This will be your physical, just
that muscle mass. Droid too. Jeez, those things are pretty heavy.
Yeah, and he's just dived right in.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to dodge that.
Okay. Roll for me let me think of the skill real quick. It's coordination. Yeah, coordination for sure.
Okay.
So coordination. I will say you get a little bit of a brief moment as it drops down and it kind of starts to slow. So go ahead and roll an easy check.
As the gravity's switching, right?
Is switching, yeah. So he's falling and suddenly he's falling the other direction.
Would Osh be able to try to catch him if Zachary's trying to get out of the way?
He dives out of the way. Sure, if you'd like to. Roll a athletics or brawn check.
I got 2 advantages, so maybe I yell to Osh, like, can you get under this thing?
Okay. You scream that as you dive out of the way as this astromech is tumbling towards you straight down.
And maybe that assists him with my 2 advantages.
Sure. That would give you, I'll say you can get I'll give you an upgrade for 2 advantage on this.
Okay.
And I'll give you a boost because there's the gravity switch, so it's slowing the astromech down. So take an extra boost if you don't already have one.
All right. What was the difficulty?
Difficulty on this was easy.
Easy.
Like 4 feet tall.
It's a lot of metal though. Astromechs are heavy.
No,
You're not wrong.
I mean,
a little. Nope.
0 success, 2 advantage.
Oh man! So as your ally dives out of the way and says, "Hey, handle my light work," you try to be the ever helpful Osh that you are, always trying to heal and help. Do me a favor and roll this 1d4 for me to see how much damage an astromech does to the face.
4.
No.
3.
3. All right, minus your soak on that. It's just an astromech. He's heavy, but he's not that heavy.
Ow.
As you take the impact, and there's this. Is your helmet metal? Is it a helmet that you're wearing?
No, that's just my head.
Oh, that's just your head. Okay, so there's this just thud. It's a little sickening as you take a hit to the face of the quarter of this astromech and get knocked prone. The astromech beeping, wee, which translates in binary to wee. Well, I'm here to help. Take me to the evidence you have. I will find the culprits responsible for stealing your starship. Only one of you recognizes any of the words he speaks.
All right, let's detach. Let's get moving before they realize he's gone, and hopefully Natiri can keep this lie up. So I'm gonna head towards the cockpit and detach. Well, I guess detach first. Head towards the cockpit and ask the droid to please relax and don't touch anything.
Can you translate what our new friend is saying for me?
Honestly, it's not. I'll tell you when he says something. He's very excited to help.
That's what. He sounds offended.
That we don't know yet because I'm sorry. Let's just get moving. It's been a long day. You understand.
Have you had any chance to monitor the transmissions or been around your captain, enterprising little droid that you are?
Monitor transmissions. No, they don't let me do that. I normally just do the astrogation checks for the ship and monitor the upper decks.
Astrogation
Well,
checks for the
anyone who's not to be allowed, and any of the crew that's not allowed in certain sections of the
He says no,
Starship.
Corey. He does astrogation, and I just translate everything that Shaq said.
Yeah. So you're translating everything that he says, and yeah, he lets you know that he does the astrogation. He patrols the second floor, as certain crew members are not allowed on the second floor in certain areas.
Little droid,
How did-
has the ship broken away from the fleet at any point, especially to meet with other ships?
With the current task force Remembrance, no. We've arrived and we've been with the fleet ever since. We've been here for about 4.5, 5 days now.
Okay. And at any point has the captain hold on, I'm just gonna open my notes. At any point has Captain Mevik asked you to divert from the orders sent from one of the the Nomad? Yeah, from the Nomad or the Infinium, or actually, I guess I don't know the name of those two ships. Any of the other flagships at this point?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for answering that. And I'm going to continue heading towards the cockpit to get us away from the ship.
Natiri, aboard ship, you hear a rustling of cargo boxes moving and a conversation going back and forth as you peek around a corner, and immediately you're noticed by a woman in her probably 40s. She's got a tattoo over her left eye running down her neck in the shape of a chain. On her shoulder, which both her shoulders are exposed, she's wearing this cut-off vest. It's about frayed at the ends. Is a large snake that covers the entirety of the shoulder. Her hair is cropped short. She's got kind of a rugged but worn clothing on, and she got a very rugged look to her. Large blaster on one side and a vibro knife is sitting across her chest in a holster. So, who the hell are you?
I'm merely here as an extra mechanic being commissioned to come aboard this vessel. I've just arrived here. I've only I've only just arrived. What about you? Who are you?
Name's Sypha.
The name's Neytiri.
Natiri. Right. Surprised the captain let you on board.
Why'd you say that?
He looks a little taken back. Roll a vigilance check. Actually, roll for me a cool check. So this is something that you guys can ask for if you'd like. One of the things that you can do with the cool skill, which is quite fun, and Wasted, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a little bit since I've done a GM, and you may remember what our skill was for it. I think it was cool. Basically, your intuition about someone. See if they're full of shit, reading their facial expressions, reading their, it's one thing for the perception check to see that someone kind of always blinks twice when they're lying. It's another thing to know what that means, right? To realize that that's, that little give, that little tell is giving you some information.
Yeah, I think there was a couple of occasions where you let us use like Streetwise / Underworld when it was appropriate, but the rest of the time it's been cool.
Yeah, it's always cool check. Yeah, Streetwise or Underworld makes sense for certain characters. All right, so you guys are welcome to ask for that as well, right?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of that.
So, because that's a skill that you can use. That's what one of the things you can do with cool checks. But go ahead and roll that for me. In this case, it's always going to be against their discipline skill, which is going to be a 1 purple.
Oh.
Yeah. She is not very disciplined. Her tells are kind of all out there. Let's see if you can pick them up on.
Wow, I nearly failed that. Jeez.
She seems real, as you ask, why is that? She seems really uncomfortable. Like she's already overstepped her bounds. Like she shouldn't have said anything. Sypha looks and kind of puts her hand through her short hair. New crew. It takes time to break somebody in, and he doesn't like people messing with his ship. Yeah, I got work to do. Gotta move these crates. So, right.
No,
Just stay out of trouble, huh?
I understand. It's different being in a team dominated by men.
She looks at you. Well, yeah, I'm the only woman on board, but they know I can kick the shit out of every one of these fools. They
Same.
try anything. She gives you a little bit of a smile. Right. Well, stay out of trouble. Let me get some work done.
Can I get a perception check of the people in the current space of the room?
Yeah.
That I can see.
It's a pretty good-sized cargo bay. This is the primary job of this ship. But go ahead and roll perception check. I will say nobody seems to be stopping you, so you can take a little time with this, which means it would be just one purple difficulty.
One purple difficulty. One success, 3 advantages.
Okay. So you do see Sypha is on the far side now. She's walked away, and she kind of glances at you, and she's sort of keeping an eye on you. And as she walks away, you notice that she's walked over on the other side of a pallet crate. You see another human. He's armored up. Head is covered mostly by another one of those rounded helmets. He's also got a set of goggles on. He also looks a little bit kind of gaunt, and his skin's like an off yellow. He's got with that roll, how'd you do on?
1 success and
advantage.
3 advantages.
Okay. You also immediately notice that he's got a pop-marked blaster. Looks like it's taken a little bit of damage. It's got a little bit of like a burn on one side. He's also got a carbine slapped over his shoulder, kind of just holstered there, hanging off his back. And in his right hand, you notice that he's currently burning and smoking a death stick. And as Sypha walks over, she kind of nods to him and gestures in your general direction. And he gives her a nod, and they both kind of look at you and give a shrug. Then they go back to what looks like inventorying some crates. Outside of that, you don't see anyone else here.
Could I use one of my advantages to give a general idea of who would be a higher ranking in command of the people that I can currently see?
From what you can tell, you've got a couple of deckhands here on this floor, and then you already had the first officer introduce themselves. So the highest ranked person that you would have heard so far would be Mevik, which would be the captain, which you have not seen.
Okay.
And then it would be the first officer, and then it looks like these two, from what you could tell, and the way that they've introduced, at least the one that's introduced himself, they are crewmen. And then the astromech, who seems very sure of himself, but you're not quite sure what he's saying.
I would like to could I stealth up to the second floor of where Sam had
roll
walked
me
up?
a stealth check to see if you can get up to the second floor.
Okay.
And now you did that perception check. I will say, there, as you're glancing around with that roll, with that advantage, you would have seen that there's a series of what looks like ladders that head up to the second floor as well, as well as the stairwells. And there seems to be 2 of those stairwells that lead up to the second floor. One to the left, which he took, and one to the right across from it, that goes up. So there seems to be multiple ways to get up there. But go ahead and roll for me a stealth check if you're trying to get upstairs.
No
I will roll your
difficulty?
difficulty.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Go ahead and roll when you're ready.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me, and then I.
Oh, no, I'm going to roll it because you don't know.
Oh, I
what the
see.
difficulty will be.
Okay. 4 successes to advantage.
Okay. You slip away behind a couple of crates and then another couple, and immediately you think that no one No one can see you or knows exactly where you are. That's not going to last forever. What do you do?
So just to clarify, I've slipped away up the ladder.
So you've got 2 ladders, you've got 2 routes up. Which one do you want to take? You've broken line of sight, and you know that, eventually somebody's going to ask about you. But at this moment, nobody is paying that much attention. You've managed to break line of sight and disappear. So which route would you like to take?
I'd like to take the ladder, if that's okay.
Okay. So you make your way. It's the farthest away, but it's also the farthest away from where the other crew members are currently working, and you slip that direction. You hear a series of doors open as you slowly make your way up the ladder quietly. And as you glance back, almost all the way up the ladder, you glance back and look around, and you see this kind of rotund gentleman come through a set of double doors near where those stairwells were. And you immediately think, this has got to be Mevik. Large human, rotund, got a small goatee, this core world accent as he's... So now, where's that new mechanic they've dropped off? On his back is a large axe that looks very familiar to you. It's very similar to the one you have. A little bit different in design, but about the same size and the same style. So it might very well be a vibro axe. But you make your way upstairs. And with that, we're going to switch perspectives. So, Saren and the rest of the group, Zakari and Osh, you guys are aboard the U-Wing. What are you doing?
I am not aboard the U-Wing anymore.
He's on the.
I'm on the Freestar, ready to head out to those coordinates.
Gotcha.
So, go U-Wing.
Can I quickly go for a wee?
Sure, go for it. We'll catch you up when you get back. You guys need a quick
Captain
break?
Mevik says no.
Oops. All right. So you're launching in your TIE, right?
That's my plan, although if you want to go with the U-Wing first, that's all good. Mine will be pretty quick, I think.
Okay. So let's go to the U-Wing then, before you launch out. So, U-Wing, what are you doing?
We're heading back, or we're heading to the Nomad now, I believe.
All right. Having dropped off your other party members, you head back to the Nomad, and as you arrive, what do you want to do?
We're gonna dock, and I'm gonna ask Osh to lead us towards because we're gonna look in the computers for information. So I'm kind of following Osh's lead because I'm not exactly sure where it is. Osh, do you want to lead us towards the? You said we got some research to do. Let's see what we can find about this.
Are we bringing the droid with us?
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a good idea. The thing's not exactly, very subtle. Droid,
Research,
can you be subtle?
investigation. I am the most subtle.
We don't want to arouse suspicion, so maybe we will go retrieve the research and we'll bring back the information we can and have you help us and analyze it.
I will stay incognito. No one will know. I'm just but a service droid, and it starts to move away without you. It starts to head towards the hallway.
Hey, but what about this ship we've got? Veronica. I can reach it. Can I reach Veronica with my comlink?
And what would you like to do with it?
Keep in communication with the droid without having to have the droid join us.
So the droid does have his own comms.
Okay.
So he's got his own comm unit. So I can keep in contact with you as long as you've got your comm link.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just listen? I think it's better served if you save your energy for computations rather than wheeling around the ship. I promise, whenever we need your help, we will we'll comm back and reach you like that. Does that work?
Droid leans heavily forward.
We don't know who we can trust on any of these ships.
Sighs as a droid can. And now it turns and you have its full attention. I see. There are those potentially among us that may be in on the ploy, the plot, the plan.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Well then, I will remain here, not give away our...
Seeing such a capable detective as yourself on the case might put our quarry farther underground, and we cannot have that.
I agree. I will stay here. Keep me informed on what you find.
What's your name, droid, before we leave?
It is He gives out the letters basically. So it's SH0K. So SH-0K.
All right, Shock. Can we call you Shock then?
Fine. That's
Okay,
fine.
Shock.
That's not my designation, but it's easy
way
to say
cooler.
in polite conversation, and I kind of dig it.
Remember, Shock, keep all of your watts on this investigation.
Will do. His head spins around. He gives a couple of beeps and makes his way back into the U-Wing.
Okay. So, shall we head over? Wash?
Yes, I will lead you there.
All right.
Okay. So where are you guys headed?
To the office to do the
All
research.
right. As you make your way back towards the office, you pass through that same briefing room, and you see the Admiral and that same older gentleman having a conversation. As the doors open, you just for a second get the glimpse of a closing down hologram. It shuts off immediately. Didn't expect you back so soon.
Does it look like it was shut off like in a hurry? Is there any indication from their actions that they have just like panic closed it, like they were caught, or is
Roll
it
a
just
cool check.
happened? A cool check?
Average difficulty, cool check.
I am the
Yep.
coolest customer there is.
As you are
so-
reading them and more like their body movement, their body language.
Oh my god! Look at.
How
What
would
is
you like to do with that
this?
advantage?
That is a lot of advantage. Maybe if I can't see their own state of mind when they're closing it, maybe I just got a glimpse of what was in or who or what was in the hologram as it was closing down.
For advantage? Okay. You saw what looked like it was a blank of what looked sort of like a mountaintop, but hollow. A large lake, maybe an ocean? It's hard to tell. The hologram kind of cut off at one point, and a spire.
So it was terrain and not a person then.
It was
Okay.
indeed.
I'm gonna
By the way.
look at him and
Welcome back.
just kind of motion towards. Because I'm just gonna kind of like motion that we should keep going.
I believe we didn't quite catch your name, sir, in the previous conversation. With all the rush to find out our current task, I'm directing this at the older guy.
Okay. Older guy in the well-cut uniform that you don't quite recognize. Oh, I'm sorry. How rude of me. My name is Taro Shaw.
Taro Shaw?
Yep, Taro Shaw. You can call me Shaw.
It is a pleasure to meet you, sure, Shaw.
Pleasure to meet you as well.
Can I look to the Admiral and ask, can you tell us anything more about the missing vessels? I've got a hunch and found something a little odd.
Well, we try to keep the makeup of the fleets, as much of a secret as we possibly can. What
Clone
kind of
Wars
information are
era?
you looking for? Yes.
Republic?
Yes.
Did they have beacons on board?
Beacons? What kind of beacons? Beacons like drop beacons, information beacons? We keep a
Well-
number of those aboard most capital ships.
I reviewed the footage from my U-Wing, and I did manage to spot what looked like an old Republic transmitter, and it seemed to be active right before the attack on the Free Star. So I'm wondering whether those ships aren't in danger. They've deserted because, well, I won't say
Shaw,
anymore.
contact the Freestar and get Hera back on the line. Right. Okay. He turns around and taps a few consoles, and the hologram comes on. You can see Hera standing there, and a couple of angry beeps from a droid you can't see in the background. They sound quite rude. Which you can understand them, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just a variety of. This is a family normally show, so we won't repeat it. But
Wow, what a... I can't repeat that in plate company.
and you're the only one that understands what it's saying. Well, except for Hera.
Grimacing.
Hera, we've got some new news. The investigation's already gone someplace. Tell her what you told me.
So I managed to recover some data from the U-wing sensors, and there's well, I'm pretty sure I saw a Clone Wars era Republic transmitter, which was accidentally destroyed by myself moments before, maybe less than an hour before the Imperial fleet arrived. It seemed to be active, and I don't want to speculate too much, but there's a Republic ship missing right now, which may have had Republic era transmitters. I'm just wondering whether that ship hasn't been destroyed or captured. Perhaps it's purposefully avoiding us because, well, I don't want to say any more.
The information that you've given Hera, okay, it's just like, there's her information roll as you fed this to her. When you mentioned it, I already began my research. You said you found a Republic beacon or device.
Mm-hmm. Seemed to be active. Looked like it was communicating. It at least had it was active in the asteroid. It was a short range beacon as well. I wouldn't expect that to still be active since the Clone Wars, especially given where we were in space. So I don't know how it couldn't be related to the attack.
I think I may have found some information that explains quite a bit, actually, with the information that you've given me so far. And now with the Clone Wars connection, the Republic connection, this makes sense. As she says this, she hits a couple of keys and the hologram changes. At this point, Saren, I'd like you to make me an astrogation roll if you are heading to the first coordinates that you'd seen.
I would going to try and head to not directly those coordinates, but somewhere near enough to fly in.
Okay.
Same deal.
So
yeah.
Near enough that maybe you could show up without being detected is kind of what you're thinking?
That's
or,
the kind of idea, as I'd like to get a sensor sweep on it before actually arriving, sort of I come in gently.
Okay.
Sneaky style.
I will say go ahead and do an astrogation check. This will be an average difficulty because it's not a far trip. You're going to be there very quickly. But because of where you're trying to get a very particular spot to drop out on for those coordinates. Where you're in sensor range, you might be able to pick something up, but not too far away. So you're down to like tight time frames. Okay, excellent. Nicely done. Nicely done. You do manage to get the calculations in and jump to hyperspace, leaving the fleet behind, wondering if it'll be there when you return. Hera pulls up on the holographic projection it looks like a starbase, but for the scale, it's quite small. This, gentlemen, took me a bit of digging into some very old records. Very old records. A few hundred years, in fact. When the Republic voted to close this area down, they didn't do so and then just ignore it. They set up a network to find smugglers, looters, and grave robbers. There seems to be, I'm understanding this, and she's pulling up what looks like old HoloNet news articles. A massive network of small probes. Each one not really capable of detecting beyond very far sublight transmissions, in energy signatures from vessels that are passing through of certain sizes. But they have enough power every few hours to send out a transmission to a hub if they detect something. Where the Republic used this to deter those that would come here, the Empire, I would imagine, wouldn't be so just in their use of this spy network, this sensor net. I'm guessing you found one of them. One of them that when you said you picked it up as it had an energy signature at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It must have sent a transmission. They must be everywhere here, thousands of them. And I would bet that they're not only picking up the transmissions or the energy signature of the ships in the fleet, but the intercommunications between the ships in the fleet. They're not nearly powerful enough for, say, a Star Destroyer a few AUs away to pick up, but there's a probe anywhere in this sector. After a few hours, one of those transmissions would reach it. It would know that someone was here, and it would report it to the hub, which would probably report it to the Empire.
So, are you saying we don't have a spy?
I don't think we do.
So we need to get out of here.
We have some calls
with
to
all
make.
due respect.
Admiral, you're not wrong. There could be one nearby, or it's only a matter of time until one of our transmissions reaches it and it sends a signal. This doesn't fix our problem. Harris speaks up. No, but it gives us a potential solution. All we have to do is find one of the hubs. If we can destroy it, we'll black out a large percentage of this region.
Do you know where the hub is?
No, I do not.
Do you know where any sensor nodes are? If we could find 3 or 4 of them, we might be able to triangulate the hub based on communications.
How
You're
spread
right.
out do you think they
We could
are?
do that. What did Osh say?
How spread out do you think they are? Would there be a bunch in one location, or if there is one in a location, is that the only one kind of servicing that area?
There would most likely be a number of them. They're small and fairly cheap to produce. The trick is building enough of them. It was a major undertaking for the Republic to do it, and for whatever reason, they were motivated to cover this entire region with the things. But how do we find them?
Would the
There's
network,
one.
to your knowledge, know if one was destroyed? Would that be a clear empty spot or raise any alarms, to your knowledge of this network?
I highly doubt that the network would be aware if one of the probes went dormant. I imagine they don't put off much power unless they're transmitting the location of a would-be smuggler, grave robber.
Are you trying to blame me for the attack, Osh?
No, I'm saying the attack may present an opportunity now. Given that we
Okay.
have a potential empty zone and a potential blind spot in their sensors, knowing where you destroyed that one, that we could present a
You're
target
saying
that
we hide in the blind spot, wait
We
for the
have-
Empire to come, see there's nothing there, and leave, and then bring the fleet there?
we have some elements of the fleet hiding in the blind spot, and some elements of the fleet hiding in a spot the Empire can see, making them send forces that may not be sufficient to deal with the entire fleet that is present. Especially if
We
it
can
was
set a
to be
trap
a
or
ship
it's a-
that
I
perhaps
like
the
the
Endless
plan,
Judgment...
but our operation requires us to keep every ship in top condition. Best we can.
I wonder if my sensor data could help us find other probes or other transmitters.
Is there any way that we could detect these things? Harris speaks up.
mean-
Not unless they transmit. They're so small. We'd have to know at least a general location, or we start sending out scouting parties to find them. Once they detect a ship, remember, these things are scanning on a passive basis. And this is something all of you as pilots would know, and you can do this with your ships. You can scan on passive or active, which means people will definitely know that you're there, but you can double your sensor range, whatever your ship's sensor range is.
So here's my thought, and feel free to interrupt me, but we know that there will most likely be sensors by major planets, especially ones affected by the plagues. So maybe we send small fighters that can be detached from the fleet to multiple locations, either together or apart. Maybe we can triangulate the position of the hub.
The older gentleman. Purposefully spring the trap, as it were, and get them to transmit.
Exactly.
Hera, what do you think? Could it work? I think it could work. It'd be dangerous. As soon as the Empire finds the location, they'll send forces to intercept. But if it's a small group, say, fighters, they would be able to maneuver away, at least hopefully.
Yeah, we only need to get a sensor reading. I mean, the Empire can move through hyperspace fast, but we need to get a sensor reading, then leave. I don't see how they're going to catch us unless it takes us a very long time to pick up the source.
With your astrogation skill too, you would know that it'd be possible to potentially track like the direction that the signal is sent.
Mhm.
But only someone who is incredibly skilled at that kind of long distance plotting. Somebody with astrogation could potentially do it, and the more signals that you can get, the easier it would be. So
We've got the U-wing. The U-wing's got lots of really advanced computers. We may have an astromech droid. We'll talk about that later. But I also served as the chief navigator for a small operation for a long time. So if we can, maybe one of these probes, I can at least get us a cone of likely location for the hub. The more we get, the more likely that I can pinpoint the exact location.
Right. Harris speaks to him. I've read his file. He's got the skills to pull it off. But we have to dedicate a number of squadrons to this. Could we, and she looks to you as kind of the expert in this situation. Could we send a number of squadrons to various, we know that there are a number of colonies that were abandoned, that fell victim. Could we supply you with the data from those squadrons, your squadron as well, and then make the calculations?
As long as I'm not spending too much time in hyperspace, because that communication is going to be difficult. But if you can get me the raw information, I can certainly figure it out.
Right. Admiral, I think we've got a plan here. It's better than nothing. Admiral looks at the rest of you. All right. Sounds like a plan. By the way, where's the rest of your party? The rest of the squadron?
Well...
And with that, we will transfer to the other perspective, as one of you has just jumped off into hyperspace aboard their TIE Advanced Version 1. Your V1. As the TIE, you get the alarm. You haven't been in hyperspace for very long. Maybe 6 or 7 minutes. You approach the coordinates that you had calculated. Saren, this is what you see.
Ooh, new scene, maybe?
Oh, God.
I'll move my U-wing.
Nope, it's on the table, Ek. You're there.
Wow.
What you see...
Do a music check.
The music check is not
far
good.
in the distance is lights flashing, sparks flying, a collection of asteroids in the distance, the sun slowly rising in around a planet that is burning on one side. And it just starts to illuminate in the distance the silhouette of a vessel. You see green flashes and the cackling static of something, you're not sure what. As you check your sensors, you pick up 4 high energy signals. 3 of which you see here on this side of the asteroid, taking cover behind some of the larger rocks, is 3 Gazantes and a single Lambda shuttle behind them, and a battle raging. A vessel straight out of the newsreels from a war now long past, still in the memory of some. And you notice that that ship in the asteroid field is slowly rolling on its beam, as if its power or its engines or its thrusters are currently not functioning. Its lights on the bridge flicker and shake. And that's, I think, where we're going to end it tonight.
So,
Alright.
wait, I'm stuck as a mechanic, and there's no spy.
So actually, we won't end it. We'll end it. We'll go a little bit longer. You've made your way upstairs.
No. I'm happy to end it there. No.
No.
That's a good
We'll go.
Okay.
We're gonna go a little bit farther. You've made your way upstairs, and you find yourself in a hallway with multiple doors to the left and to the right. The door to the left is wide open, and inside you can see what looks like a crew quarters. To the right, a sealed door and another door that's slightly cracked. As you peek your way inside that door, what you notice is another crew quarters. Looks like a number of credits, some Pazak cards on the table, and what looks like a flask. Another door, the door that's closest to you, seems to be closed and locked. And then there's a hallway. What do you want to do?
I want those credits.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
sm-
Yes.
You smell when you start making your way into the room and you open the door a little bit farther. You see, and I have your stealth roll here. You hear the sound of someone snoring, and it's dark in the room. As you reach out and you pick up the credits, I want you to go ahead and roll for me a skullduggery check.
Oh,
See how quietly you can pick up the credits. This will be a
Skullduggery?
easy with 2 boost die. So it's an easy difficulty, 2 boost die.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wait. How bad is my skullduggery?
It's not bad.
Where is it? Oh, it's there. Oh,
It's
okay.
3
That's
green.
not bad.
Skullduggery is your lock picking, it's your pickpocketing, it's all that sneaky underhanded that people like to do. Roll when you're ready, and I'll tell you what those boost die are for once you roll.
Is that difficulty 1? Did you say?
Yep, difficulty 1. There you go. Roll for it.
Imagine if I fail this. And I failed it. No, I'm joking.
You failed.
I
You
did.
did fail it. You did fail it. All right.
I was
you hear a bit
joking,
of,
but I did.
You hear a bit of grumbling, and what? Who the f are you? Are you trying to steal from me? And he jumps up, and you can see this. Once again, this guy looks a little sickly. His skin color is a little off. He's human, though. He's got nothing but a pair of boxers on. As he jumps out of his bunk, I'll kill you. And you can tell he's inebriated. That's where the boost die came from. He's totally drunk. Just stay still for a minute. And at the beginning of the next one, you will roll for initiative. As this guy goes and on the desk, he starts to reach in and grab his blaster from the side of his like nightstand area.
Initiative. Sorry, where is this again on it?
Initiative is your in this case it would be a vigilance roll, I would say, because you're not really ambushing him. He surprised you by noticing that you're there.
Oh, I'm gonna fail this.
So well, we'll roll it in the beginning of the next one because that's gonna be the end for today. So
okay.
we have Natiri aboard a Gazanti cruiser that is potentially has spies, but now maybe doesn't, but she doesn't know that. Who has been trying to rob someone and has gotten caught. We have Saren has jumped to hyperspace to check out some coordinates. Turns out that there's a battle going on with an old Clone Wars era vessel that is having some serious problems. And a plan has been concocted on the bridge of the task force flagship. Well done, gentlemen. That was fun.
That was fun.
The first thing you do, Charlie, not even mission related, you try to steal from
I can't believe I knew you were setting me up to successfully get that, but I can't believe I failed it. Also, can I put those 5 advantages into my strain?
You haven't used any strain, have you?
No.
Yeah, then you can't. You don't just get more strain from that. It doesn't just like add up. You don't get extra strain. You just go back up to your cap.
He's got extra right now.
So you have 5 strain though. You have 5 advantage from that theft. I'll let you think about what you want to do with that, and remember for next time. And I'll let you spend that in some way because that's a lot of advantage. You can go pretty ham with that. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, go ahead.
Why did that put 1 away from my strain?
You were over your capacity.
Oh, really? Oh,
You only have 11 strain.
Oh, I only have 11. Sorry, Shaq.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So just keep in mind what your strain is. So go and get rid of that. So that's where we're at. Party is split. You guys are all over the place. There's a battle going on in an asteroid field. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit crazy. But thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you guys for jumping in on this. I hope you're enjoying your first tabletop game. Eck, I know this is your very first one, and Charlie. So
Great fun. I'm excited to see where we go next time. No combat in this episode, which was fun and different.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of RP on this one. So, all right, everybody, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on wherever you're watching it. If it's over on X channel or Wasted's Twitch channel, or all right, where are you streaming this on? Ek, is this on Ek2?
X2, yep.
Ek2. Okay, I see. Secondary channel. That's cool. No, that's fine.
That's where all the gaming stuff goes.
Gotcha.
And the live streams honestly do probably as well or better. So
awesome, dude. So make sure you hit the thumbs up on all of those and subscribe to the channels if you haven't already for gaming, sci-fi, Star Wars goodness, and all these. And I will see you all in the next one. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you maybe the same time next week. I'll put an announcement out on the Discord and on Twitter, and I'll put the event up.
we also have Twin Sun Squadron meeting in a different context tomorrow, live for the big Star Wars Squadrons tournament.
That's true.
Operation
Tomorrow.
8.
Is
That
that
is why this is ending early, because I have to go relearn how to play with the HOTAS because they just did that big update and now all the
Yeah.
controls are different.
Yes, you'll
Because-
need to do that.
So that's tonight's goal. So I will be over on Twitch streaming that if you guys want to jump in and
Yeah, I
poke.
might as well actually.
Yeah,
You
I'll
play some too?
definitely play some.
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
the tournament
yeah, yeah.
noon
Cool.
ET tomorrow?
We'll stream some Squadrons tonight with the Squadron.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Bye.
Have a wonderful evening. Bye, everyone.
Good night.